think this week is going to be no different to any of the other ones. I think so far all the Kick Talks have been great. I think we've had such a nice diverse sort of like lineup of guests, some really great discussions. I'm looking forward to talking to Pike. Dubz is just always going to be an incredible guy to speak to. I haven't actually talked to Dubz before. I've seen him post so much. I've dropped by his stream so much. Spoke to him in his chat, but never actually had the pleasure of actually speaking to him directly. Same with Panda as well. I like to say the coolest thing about these streams is the fact you get to kind of almost have a chat to these guys because you lurk in their streams. You might see them on social media and stuff, but you don't actually always get the chance to kind of jump on a call and have a good chat. So it's always super exciting when these massively familiar names, to at least me, end up joining the stream. Welcome everyone to Kick Talk episode 5. By the way, if you just tuned in, we are running a little bit behind time, so apologies for that. Again, like Andrew just said, we're going to be touching on a few different subjects here. We got a good range of guests, but ready to go when you are, Andrew.
Yeah, man, cool. So just to kind of, lay it out again on Pike, we gave Pike the latest UI, man. We gave it to him, I want to say last night, and he started diving in. This guy has provided like 11 pages of feedback between him and his community. So I just kind of want to set that up for our viewers right now, because I see a lot of people in chat being like, hey, what's up with the UI, blah, blah, blah. I saw you surfing on it while you were doing your stake segment. But Pike is a streaming analyst. And we just noticed that he really took an active interest in Kick. He takes an active interest in all streaming platforms, but on Kick, he was balanced critically, right? And I'll say this verbally, like, right? He's not like a Zach Bussey. He's not like a Loco, which is like a complete apologist for other platforms. This guy like keeps it like balanced and very real, which is something that's really on brand with Kick, right? We're not like crazy far right. We're not crazy cancel culture left. We're reasonable. And his takes were always honest and we're always progressive. And we just developed a really good relationship with Pike. So I just want to preface it with that. This guy's a streaming analyst. He doesn't stream all the time, but man, did this guy get his hands on the latest UI, and I'm going to drag him over and have him join in. But guys, it's PIKE2C. Pike, I know you're live streaming with us right now, so I'll just throw it over to you real quick, man.
All right, well, thank you for that intro. Also, what's up, guys? How's it going? Nice to, we'll say, finally face to face, y'all.
Yeah, Pike.
And so I'm gonna be frank. I got some potentially difficult questions. I got some things that I'm sure y'all are gonna answer 50 other times today. And then some stuff we'll say on the UI, stuff on we'll say moderation, because that's very much what I'm very heavy in. Very much a heavy viewer moderator for a lot of people. And then also, like, I've got 15 years of IT experience, so you'll kind of see some of my questions are kind of based in some of those like principles. And so, yeah, I'm gonna get right into it if y'all are okay with that.
Wait, can I have 2 minutes of your time just to ask a couple of questions?
Oh shit. Yeah, go ahead.
And then I'll answer everything. All right, hold on. Okay. So just quickly, I've been told, and I've heard this a little bit, like you're kind of known as like kind of the people's mod, like the people's voice always. How did that actually happen? What does that mean to you? Is that like, that's kind of pretty fucking, hefty title to hold in your back. Like you've got a bit of responsibility behind that.
So for me, and like, to be frank, like I've been in the streaming space for about 4 years. I've been modding for, I think at one point in time, I had like 30 people that I was moderating for. I've dwindled that down greatly. And part of that kind of comes from like, I'm very like, I'm going to toot my own horn here, but like in certain streaming like circles, I'm very much well known for being a moderator and things like that, in which I love working with streamers to basically find new ways to do things. So like when I'm going to like shout someone out here, when like Mr. Boost came out with a Stream Elements widget, basically connects Kick and Stream Elements, I'm like, all right, I got to have y'all like start using this, because there's so much stuff I can do in Stream Elements that I can't do in Botrix and all these other bots and things like that. And so having done that and working with different streamers to do things, it's kind of gotten me the, like, I guess, reputation of like being the people's mod, of like, I listen to folks, I try to be level-headed on decisions and things like that. Of course, every so often as mods, we can be ban heavy, timeout heavy, that kind of thing for certain things. But having done that and kind of been around the space for a while, I've seen everything. And that kind of, I feel like, puts a different perspective on things for moderating for me, to where it's like, yeah, I've seen this here and there, blah blah blah. I've done this here and there, and so that's just helped with all of that, if that makes sense.
Man, that's awesome. I tell you, I think the people who put the effort into helping others build their communities, like they're literally the most unsung heroes of the streaming community. The amount of work that goes into some of these successful channels and the derivative of the communities that are generated from all that work is incredible. So again, massive shout out to you and helping everyone else here on Kick, man. Like that does mean so much. Again, I'm conscious of time here, but again, Andrew kind of mentioned this in the beginning. You kind of like seen as this like streamer analyst of sorts, right? Which is, it's kind of cool. I find your post fascinating, right? You know, how did that kind of come about? And you know, maybe is there anyone you kind of look up to? Because I know there's some others that do this. Is there anyone in particular that you reckon is doing a good job?
Well, I mean, a lot of, we'll say, things for me is like, I have that background in IT. So I have that analyst experience. I have like a lot of experience in like the engineering side, the development side, the support side. And so a lot of, we'll say, what kind of got me started with Kick kind of stemmed from that, because it's like one of the things that I was basically going to bring up is like, I wish the support channels would kind of be a little bit more proactive sometimes, which then basically opened the door for me to basically be like, hey, I'm finding out these things in real time because I'm watching these channels. I'm basically moderating these channels. So I'm seeing when chat breaks. I'm seeing when notifications don't go out. I'm seeing when messages don't go through because I'm sending those messages. And so it felt like for me where it was like an opportunity to basically say, how can I basically offer my skills professionally to my personal streaming world? And so that kind of, will say, stemmed a lot of like things for me with how I did this. Is like, yes, I think Zach's kind of an example that I would use of like someone that does very similar to what I'm trying to do. But outside of that, it's just like, I very much love analytics and data. And if like I had a Stream Charts membership for fucking $200 a fucking month, I might do more of that, but it's outrageous to me to pay that. And so a lot of the stuff that I like to look at is very much, we'll say, data, if that makes sense.
Stream Charts, can we hook this guy up with a membership? Fucking hell. I'm gonna have to figure this out for you, man. You gotta get us results if we hook you up there.
I mean, yeah, I can work on some reports and things. That's what I do, like even day job wise, is like run reports and the even like some of the BI like related things. If I gave you like, I sent my resume over to y'all a long time ago, but it's one of those things of like, I've got so much like random experience throughout things that like I can pretty much like go into any department and be able to talk shop, so to say.
No, I think even judging by the feedback in the chat right now, everyone seems to know who you are, knows a lot of love there. So even Paulie kind of mentioned that you're the GOAT. I know that Paulie's been leaning on you for a long time to kind of keep him up to date on what's actually going on. Sometimes you're definitely a trusted third party almost, that kind of, like you said, almost kind of leads the way for when there's issues or anything that needs to be fixed up. On that note, quickly, just to clarify, the message is not going through. That's solved, right?
No, I had it happen last night. I'm just going. That was literally my first question to y'all. Is basically like, what do I have to do? What do we have to do as viewers to give y'all the evidence of this? I have a mess. Like I copied the message that did not work last night, and it's basically somebody mentioned something about BB Jess, and I was like, who doesn't like BB Jess? Question mark, exclamation point, question mark, exclamation point. That message did not go through three times. And so like, I know how to go in console view and be able to get some of that stuff for y'all. So it's like, if like, let me know, like it's still happening very much. And
how often
when
is that
I mentioned it,
how often is that happening?
I would say it happens at least once a day.
Interesting. Okay.
And like, and I'll mention it. Like I mentioned it last night when this happened. I'm like, why is this message not going through? And like 2 or 3 other people also had like basically said like, yeah, we tried sending a message and it didn't go through earlier today. So like, to me, it's still very much an issue. I know at one point in time, probably a month or so ago, it seemed like for me, there was no issue, but I was hearing it from people, but I never saw it. And so here about a month ago, something changed. I don't know what, but then I started getting that issue and I'm still trying to figure out like what is it symbols? I know that like symbols for me has been a big issue where it's like special characters and things like that in messages seem to be a problem. And so I know now, like I did a message before where it was like something, something, dot, 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 something, something, dot, dot, dot. And that message didn't go through. I don't have that message to actually give you, but I can give you the message I sent last night if needed.
Okay.
So
Yeah, no,
yeah.
that's good. That's good to flag. I think we'll check that again. I think we definitely, we found the errors that were causing that issue, and from what I understood is we definitely lowered it. There's a few going through, but it should definitely be a lot better. But at the end of the day, every single message should make it through. Like it's not a complicated problem to solve. I think it does stem from some more legacy code that existed and then got iterated on and is slowly on the way out as we kind of refine and slowly roll out this what we call is V2 almost, right? In these progressive stages. But yeah, no, definitely shoot through the evidence of that happening. And the symbols thing is interesting. I'm not sure if it should be related to that. That doesn't sound like it makes exact sense, but yeah, we need to get on top of that one. That there, reliability of messages is like paramount. Like that there should be a no-brainer. It just quickly on that before you move on, Pike, is that during peak time typically? Are we talking like, maybe like 8-9 p.m. EST?
Yeah, it probably did happen around that time, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm thinking that might be something to do with it as well.
Because it was to be open, it was during Uprise last night, so it was around that time period.
Yeah, I think,
or at least for me.
Yeah, I think that might be linked to a couple of other people who were live at that time, and some chats going pretty crazy. So again, yeah, unacceptable though. We need to get on top of that. Yo, Pike, what else you got for me?
We got to figure out noties. I don't know what's going on with noties, but last night I had someone get like 100 noties at once. I know that there was an issue or a change in how the mobile app did noties or something like that in like the past week or so, but kind of wanted to mention that as like another, along with chat, like noties are something that I don't know if they're like, it happened last night with someone where it was like they got 100 noties, and I'm like, okay, this is likely them working on the notification system or something like that, and maybe something didn't happen or whatever. But I was like, I want to mention that because I see it a lot of times where it's either no noties or basically a ton of noties at once. So wanted to mention that as
yourself,
takeaways.
or is that mainly from other people talking about it?
I only had experienced it when we had the API key change last week or week before.
That's when the noties, the noties all quite caught up. There should have been 100-ish that came through.
But for me, I'm on iOS. I personally don't have that many notification issues. I get my notifications just fine. I know how to go into my iPhone and set that up to make sure that that is actually the case. I know some people may not. So
yeah, I think
at least for me, I've not seen it.
Like the notification one's an interesting one because we do like log every single report of them coming through, and I'm 9 times out of 10, it's usually a user error issue. Like someone's turned their notifications off. They've they've turned it off for the user or on their iPhone or on their device. Like there is a lot of there's definitely a lot of user error around that. And I think sometimes people automatically assume they definitely aren't perfect. That there is a few little edge cases that is going to be resolved through hopefully when the second or the brand new app comes out. But yeah, the way that it's been implemented is far from perfect. There should be a much more observability, end-to-end monitoring of all notifications, which we do have to most extents. That's why we're kind of able to look at it and go, oh, okay, this is why this one's gone through. But yeah, notifications, reliability of it is incredibly important. I must say though, the one thing that we do here on Kick is we send out notifications for every channel, and we try to do that. Most of the platforms actually don't even do notifications for every channel they go live. They kind of like choose, like if you go live like 5 times in a week, you don't like send notifications out. There's certain criteria. So, just giving a bit of a shout out to Kick on that front. Obviously on notifications, whilst they still need to be improved a little bit, and that reliability needs to, get there, and it will be resolved through this new version of the app that we're releasing from the ground up. That we are sending a lot of notifications out where we're making the most of it and ensuring everyone gets that, that full visibility, because we want yeah, we want to make sure your viewership knows when you're going live. But nah, fair shout, man.
Hey,
Fair
Pike.
shout.
Yep.
Pike, real quick, we got 10 minutes on the clock. Just want you to make the most of it.
So I'm going to go ahead and tell you, I'm not going to get through everything. Just letting you know that. But a couple things that I kind of want to round off on the new UI. So I just wanted to, I'm like, let me pull this up real quick. One thing that I
wanna share your
noticed
screen?
when like, say what?
Do you want to share your screen? Have you got it up?
Oh, I've got it over here in this corner, but I can share my screen if you want.
I'm gonna say if you want to run through it, just so the guys can kind of see what you're talking about, because I think most people haven't seen it. Actually, it's still pretty small.
Hold on. This is just a video of your stream. Just FYI, this is not be logged into the new interface. I wasn't sure if I could share that, so I was like, I'm just going to go back to your stream and share it. Maybe that'll help you.
Okay, yeah, you can do that. That's good.
But one thing that, like, when I was testing things, the featured section up here drastically changes depending on your screen size. So like your screen size here, there's this giant dead space up here at the top and kind of down here underneath the old school RuneScape kind of thing. Part of me thinks that, like, one, maybe not have this gradient so huge. If you're dead set on having a gradient, maybe have it maybe 25% of the way over, so that way there's some differentiator there. I'd love to have rounded corners because there's not right now, but there is on everything else. And then I don't see any other platform doing this, but I feel like this is something y'all could probably easily do. Add a follow and a subscribe and a gift button up here. Because when you're on the front page or something, you're up here in the featured section. Maybe I don't have time to sit here and watch your channel, but I see that you're playing RuneScape and I want to come in and basically follow you, so I know that I can come back and follow you later. Having that quick follow button, I think, would be something quite useful. The popular clips section, I'm going to kind of hopefully move down a little bit. This popular clip section, I don't like it. I feel like it's pointless for 99% of streamers. It's only good for the XQCs of the world. And it's basically just live stream fails, but not on Reddit. And I would love to see it be something like popular clips from people that you're following, or popular clips from your recommended section kind of down here in the bottom left. And then the other thing that I wanted to point out is moving the live categories piece. To me, the live categories, if I'm looking for a category, I'm going to go hunt for that category. I think if you bring up this section here where it currently says games, move that section above the live categories and call it like streamers will think you'll love, or recommended streamers, or something like that. Because what it's doing is it's not only giving y'all 9 featured slots up at the top, it's giving you an additional 5 to 10 extra slots for people to be able to be discovered on. And so those are, we'll say, my like key things that I wanted to mention to y'all, just we'll say publicly. And then I want to call out some things that I noticed about the UI that I think are, for me, like some big W's. One of my biggest gripes right now is like when replying to messages that have emotes, it shows the emote code in them. Last night I was doing that, I was messing around. It doesn't show the emote code. It actually shows the actual emotes. And so that was a big W. I love the new clipping tool. It just makes more sense in my opinion. Y'all have added some chat appearance options that will kind of allow for a little bit of customization, and I can see that kind of increasing over time. The colon thing, to where you're in chat, you do colon, start typing out any emote code, I think is also a nice little W. And then the mod shortcuts. I want to make sure I bring this up because this is just one of the things for me where it's like, I find this to be potentially so useful, especially on the like normal view, not in mod view. Being able to do shift and have an action happen, or control have an action happen, I think is super useful. I personally think that it needs to go shift as delete message, control as timeout, and then control plus shift is to ban someone. So that way it's a little bit more of an effort to actually ban someone because you're going in a direction of hierarchy to where you're trying to ban someone.
That's really good feedback. That makes so much sense.
So that we'll say is all I'm going to say about the UI. Let me go back to a smaller screen here since nobody can see my face.
Pike, I love you, man.
Yep. And so I want to ask this question because I know it's going to be asked about 50,000 times. And if I don't ask it, somebody else is going to or want to. What are y'all thinking for an ETA on release? And please do not say soon.
So what we're gonna do. So I was using the website on my stream today a little bit. I've been, to be fair, internally we've been using it for about a month, just to kind of like get it ironed out. Again, like I mentioned this a bit on the previous Kick talks. Big thing about Kick and the direction we're going is when we launch something, we want it to be really, really solid. So the first step we'll be launching that on a subdomain that the subdomain you can access right now. We're going to be giving that out to about 100 people on Monday. So a couple of days from now, we'll kind of spread that out, get feedback. To be fair, it's not password protected, so we're assuming it's going to get leaked a little bit, which is fine. But again, it's kind of in this phase where we can take on feedback. Like you said, you mentioned like the top streams or recommended streams going below the the new carousel up there. That's already in the works. Looking forward to hearing some feedback. The idea behind what we currently have there is we've got 9 streams that are going to be playing, right? And we're actually going to measure the success of how many people kind of actually, engage with those live streams and actually make it through. We do want to do a little bit of testing around that in terms of conversion from homepage to feature streams. The idea is that we think it's going to be a little bit more powerful playing them in this way rather than just showing them. But again, like you said, it's more real estate, right? It's more real estate. So I think we can easily do that. It's a no loss situation. It'd probably end up being the top 9 streams go through the carousel and have the autoplay in the header there. And then the next 10 kind of populate below that, which would be really good. And we can just have our, I'm thinking more so that the carousel is going to have it's not the carousel, but the top bit's going to have, featured people that are always going to be rotating. But below that, we'll kind of have a lot of that kind of the people who are, almost the pillars of Kick, right? The people you're always going to have a good time watching. So we're going to kind of like divide it up a little bit. Ensuring that the right people are featured for the right reasons. I think there's lots of different reasons for featuring people. You've got new and upcoming streamers, which is a big initiative of ours, which I think we can push to that top bit to kind of, give people that immediate visibility. And then below that, in that section you're talking about, we can start putting, some of those streamers that you just, your Lucci's, your Chopsticks, your, those kind of streamers that have been around for ages and just always have high quality. So, this kind of feedback that you're giving us essentially is like the most important thing for this on Monday. And then, if all things go well, we'll probably just switch over kick.com to the new version, maybe after a week or two. I'm thinking, assuming it all goes smoothly. But the good news is obviously being a UI update, a front end heavy update, there is some back end changes, but mainly it's a front end update. Means of course that both environments can run in parallel. So it's great for us to be able to just, collate feedback and then make sure we get that feedback included in the full release, because once it's fully released, it's obviously a lot more difficult to make those relevant changes. So we're going to make the most of this period, collect feedback from our partners, correct feedback from the people who want to get back to us on it, and I think we can definitely use those 2 weeks to get it to even a better state than it's currently in. But super rapt to hear that you got some more positive feedback than negative feedback thus far. That's that's a win in my books.
Yeah, no, it's definitely, I think, a good step in the right direction in terms of, we'll say, UI. Because I think that there's a lot of, we'll say, nice little features and things like that. But also I can see a progressive type stance of like, okay, we've got this out now. This is version this is like, I don't want to say like version 1, 2, or whatever, but like this is the first update of the UI. Who knows, in X amount of months, y'all come out and say, all right, here's some new features we've added to the UI that'll make your experience a little bit better, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No,
I'm going to round off.
A big thing with the UI, right, is it's been rebuilt from scratch, right? So now that we're kind of back into having a singular, code base for our front end, we can now start back building it again, because we're at that point in time where you kind of in between code bases, like do you build on the old code base, do you build on the new one? So, once this is out, the features will start rolling through again. This definitely unblocks one of our main sort of deployment pipelines, which means we can, you know, continue to iterate really quickly on the next one being, of course, the back end, and then of course the mobile applications and other apps. But yeah, no, that's a great point. It is just the first in what is a completely overhauled and rewritten front end / UI. So, you know, what's to come is, you know, there's still way more that can be done. This is just the foundation almost, right?
Yeah. I'm going to kind of round off a lot of quick points. And it's mainly just because I want to see what we'll say chats end up saying, because it's things like this that I'm like, I have my opinion on wanting these things. Other people may have theirs. On the user modal for moderators, getting it created on date. That way we know when accounts were created. So we know if it's potentially spam or alt accounts kind of thing. On the give us a sub mode, like give us a specific icon for moderation actions on the main platform. So like if I come over to like your stream here, and down here at the settings icon, give us another icon that's just mod action specifically. That way it's quick and easy for moderators to go in and not have to go into mod view to actually turn on follower mode when we're getting follow botted or spam botted, chat botted, all that stuff. If I don't say this, I'm going to get killed. Can we please speed up pinned messages? It takes like 15 seconds to do that. It causes so many problems, for at least for us that are very chat like pinned message heavy.
Yeah, no, that one's non-excusable. Yeah, we've identified what the issue is on that front. I think that might be good to go out, hopefully with this new UI update. So don't quote me on that one exactly, but I know that ticket, that issue has been worked on. I've heard it been spoken about. That one there is, yeah, that one's ready to get shipped almost.
Okay, and then another thing from, we'll say, mods perspective is usernames and emote names. I would love to see, I know that y'all did some improvements to usernames maybe 2 weeks ago. I can still put some sus or non-appropriate names in to that username creation tool. And even for the emote names. Just saying, I'd love to see that as a thing that's improved upon down the road. I know that takes time and things like that, but being able to basically not have like words that I think are, we'll call it super inappropriate to be able to say to people as their usernames. Like I can probably go off on 15 examples today. So I'd love to see that as a thing that's kind of discussed at some point down the road. Another thing that like I just want to mention, if y'all are doing like API updates or things like that and it's going to break bots, have the Kick support basically be like, hey, this is going to break some stuff. We're very much aware. Or even have like a Discord of like all the developers in it to where it's like, hey guys, we know we're going to change something. We can't exactly tell you what, but just be aware that this is going to happen in an hour. And then that way we're not wondering like, why is Botrix broken, or why do we having to refresh cache on all of these different overlays and things like that, because all that stuff broke. And another thing that I love that y'all do, and I hope y'all keep this shit up, is just keep being transparent. I know that like y'all can't say dates to certain things and things like that a lot of times, just because there are thousands of factors that go into it. But keeping up that transparency, please. This is why I love doing these things right here, because it's doing that. And then I want to give y'all a chance. I don't know if y'all want to take the chance. Is there anything about the mobile app that is coming that we should be aware of?
Yeah, just on or back of all that stuff, you mentioned a whole bunch of really great things. I think the big one kick away there was the username stuff. It'd be great to, I assume you've already escalated those usernames and which ones have got through.
Every so often, yeah.
Yeah. Can you
sometimes I'm not a mod for it, so
I think on that side we do lean on a lot of kind of AI to kind of, you know, detect bad usernames and all that kind of stuff, and we're starting to lean on that a lot more, even in what's upcoming sort of our auto moderation tool that we're hoping to release pretty soon. We've kind of expedited on the back of some recent issues with kind of chat. You know, we've always kind of been super focused on moderating live streams, but now we're realizing like it's equally, if not more important, to moderate chats, to moderate, like you said, usernames, to moderate even emotes. Like there's moderation doesn't just start with the live stream. It starts with like every other component of the website. And, you know, we're leaning into a lot of AI tools that we can kind of assist us with and, you know, almost do the heavy lifting just with the state of where things are at nowadays. So I think a lot of that comes down to kind of variables of how they're kind of obviously weighted. So if you do have some example usernames that have gotten through, I think we can kind of like try to make sure we pick those ones up and, you know, tailor the weightings we have in the toolings we're using. Yeah, the API side of stuff. Yeah, I think that's a big downside of us not having a public API right now. When we don't have a public API and documentation, you know, proper sort of list of people who are using the API and, you know, everything that comes with that, having a properly orchestrated sort of in development environment for people to build off, we lack that communication and it's, you know, unfortunate that happens because we're pushing updates and stuff without that in mind. And obviously that's going to be a mind shift when we do release a public API. But yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about in terms of what happened with the chat most recently, for example, and it took down Botrix and a lot of really core services that there could have 100% been avoided. Massive accident on our sides. We know where we went wrong there. Everything else you mentioned as well is, you know, well and truly kind of on the way. Again, it's hard not just to say soon, but you know,
Yeah.
I think I can't disagree with you on a single point that you've kind of mentioned there. The transparency side of stuff, we're going to keep doing. You know, Kick Talks, I think, is almost the best way to kind of, you know, action transparency rather than kind of show transparency in that sense. So, you know, again, hopefully everything that comes, you know, we keep talking about starts coming to life and people go, okay, you know what, it got mentioned on TikTok, it's actually going to happen, you know, and we rebuild all of that sort of trust that, you know, maybe started to dip a little bit on the back of some slow updates. But again, we've already got one sort of development pipeline that's about to be unblocked again, which is going to be incredible that you know, you've had a chance to witness, and that's going to get things moving again. But, you know, again, when we start saying, all right, this is coming, this is happening, people are going to be like, okay, that's the real deal. So that transparency, but most importantly, that trust side as well is something we understand is incredibly important. But you mentioned the mobile app. The mobile app. So I like to think that there's kind of three main streams of work that we're kind of focusing on. You know, the first being the web UI front end that you're kind of seeing right now and you've had access to. That's been like a big project that we've been working on, building that from the ground up. The second being like our back end core services rewrite, which has also been happening. That's probably good to go again within sort of 4 to 8 weeks potentially, which is going to be really good. It's going to unblock that development pipeline. So we'll have a, you know, completely new back end, completely new front end, which will, you know, allow for that to go. And the third one, of course, is the applications side of things. So, you know, that means iOS app, Android app, TV apps, and console apps, right? That's kind of the four sort of like, you know, main work streams within that workflow that we're focusing on. The iOS and Android app is, you know, it's looking really good. It's really coming along. Again, you know, the current app, as you're probably aware, is very much kind of a wrapped browser almost. We got it there quickly. In hindsight, we probably should have, you know, taken our time and just done it properly. But again, it got the job done for the time that we had early on. The new one though, it feels incredible. What we want to launch, no different to the web UI, is something that is in comparison, you know, feels just as good, if not better than the competition. Like we don't really want to settle for like, oh, it's kind of halfway there, so we'll release it. Like we're not doing that. I'd like to think based on current sort of projections of timelines, that's at least that won't be longer than 2 months out. And that's really what I'm looking forward to most, because I recognize the number one issue with the current product is definitely the app. It is not up to scratch. Like that there is going to be something that we're going to get out. And, you know, I think a lot of streamers, a lot of viewers are going to rejoice when that does happen, because it's going to be worth the wait. It's going to definitely put Kick on par from a viewer experience. So yeah, that there, I can't give you a time. I can't give you a date. But all I can say is it's, you know, by far the most important sort of, you know, aspect of the development flow at the moment that we need to get out there as soon as possible. And of course, very much followed by TV apps and consoles too.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny you like talk pipelines. I consider it as value streams, because it's basically like 3 different value streams that you all have going. And so I get what you're saying, and I think that like I did not hear you say soon, at least in conversations. But I think one thing that will definitely help, and this will kind of be my last point because I know time, is kind of that roadmap. Because I think once like a roadmap or something like that is kind of implemented, even if it's just basically, hey, we plan to do this quarter, um, I think that's going to go a long way in basically saying like, hey, here's some of the stuff that you can look out for. Here's where this value stream is going to be putting in some time, and things like that, because there's quite a few um, I don't know, different things that like everybody wants to know. Where it's like when's the kicks coming out, when's PayPal, when's channel points, when's the API, when's this, that, and the other. And like I know the answer is likely going to be soon, but having that roadmap to be able to like point back to and basically say like, hey, this is coming out in Q1 of 2025 or whatever, I think would go a long way. So, but yeah, I'll end it there.
Yeah, give me a second. I might have something for you. Give me 2 seconds.
Uh,
I think in terms of roadmaps, we want to start. Let's make that better. There we go.
so I guess I can stop sharing screen.
So I can probably share this with you. So I like to think of this as almost kind of, we call this the kick tree. The idea behind this is rather than kind of saying, hey, look, this is coming now. It's kind of just
if you're sharing something, we're not seeing it.
Yeah,
or your
give
face.
me a second. So I'm just fixing up my my
Oh,
OBS.
cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Hold on, give me a second.
Hey, while he does that, Pike, I just want to make it clear, man. Feel free to drop more notes on that 11-page doc that you gave us, guys. He just scratched the surface and some of the feedback that he was giving us. We've getting a lot of that feedback from other people that are checking out the site. But Pike, please keep adding that doc. Also, in that thread that we have you on, you have direct access to a lot of members in our dev team. So, keep tweeting your stuff out because I want you to farm content. I want you to grow your brand. I want you to do all that stuff. But feel free to start using these direct avenues now that you have to hammer it home, directly,
So more foot rubs for Polly. Got it.
More foot rubs for Polly. I think, we want to continue to, expand on this relationship, right? Because you're presenting things as like, hey, like a conversation, like a reasonable person, right? You're not like just coming in and saying, kick sucks and this is why, right? Like you have I think what's unique about your background is that okay, like I always have a tough time with food critics that aren't chefs, or with sports critics that never played a day of sports in their life. I always have a tough time with that because it's actually so different when you actually jump in and are able to cook. And you have a background where we look at you and we're like, all right, this guy's just not rage baiting. This guy is actually like providing insightful content,
Yeah. I still have to keep up my reputation a little bit. I got to do at least one shit post a month on Kick, because that's what everybody associates me with. It seems like is like, oh, I just shit on Kick all the time.
Nah, I think you do it. I think you do it very respectfully. To be fair, I think you call us out when we need to be called out. I think there's rage baiting where I think we sometimes get like the short end of the straw, but then there's like hey, look, fucking get your shit together, Kick. What I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly pull this up. This hasn't been seen yet before. It's pretty simple, right? But again, I think the main thing we want to address here is basically saying this is what we recognize as kind of, the end of beta, like what gets us out of beta and gets us to product parity. Again, a lot of this is based around once we have the foundation out that we keep speaking about on those 3 main work streams, the rest are going to start coming through very quickly. And again, this is just a very basic one that people can really easily digest. I've kind of got here, what we call the Kick roadmap. Kind of starting out here, we got our partnerships, right? I think the first thing we did is we partnered with a lot of, great different organizations. You got DreamHack, PGL, Everton, Sauber F1 team. That's been done. That's again just kind of recognizing some of the work we've done. Sort of the disruption side, which I think is really incredible. You know, we came out with Kick, we had 95-5 split, we had the KCIP, we've kind of started revolutionizing this whole IRL streaming category and letting people do some stuff that was never seen before. You know, I think this one sometimes goes unsung and not spoken about much, but we sort of brought multi-streaming back. You know, beforehand, you weren't really allowed to multi-stream, but kind of Kick sort of changed that perception and helped to sort of change that around. So, you know, again, we've gone ahead and we've disrupted stuff, you know, but onto like what we need to do going forward. You know, application side, we like to think there's, you know, 4 really big ones I just mentioned to you before. There's the web, there's the iOS and Android, there's the TV app, and there's the consoles. So the web one here, you've just seen it, you've had access to it. This one is doing, very close to done. Mobile as well, what we're just discussing, iOS and Android, we're doing it right now, also very close to done, a little bit after. The TV apps as well. We've got those live prototypes ready to bring them out. The next one, however, that we haven't yet started on, but we understand the heavy importance, is the consoles. So that there is you know, that's coming along next. After that, we kind of look at towards, you know, everything that kind of stems from when I talk about this new back-end release that we're going to do. You know, this is all going to be the tools that we're going to bring in out, like payments, for example. We have so much more we can improve on payments, localizing them. Creator tools are going to be incredibly important, you know, giving people the right analytics, giving them right visibility, the tools to make their streams incredible and, you know, foster their community. Channel points is brought up all the time. You know, that's happening as well. Moderation tools is, you know, really coming along again. There's a massive urgency that was put on that recently that we're, you know, getting across the line. You know, Kicks, of course, everyone keeps asking about that. That's coming next. So that hasn't been started yet. So, you know, the 4 things above, we've kind of, you know, we've started scraping the tip of the iceberg with those ones. And, you know, we've got them coming along again, very much contingent on this new back end, this new work stream I was talking about, but they're coming very soon. Kick currencies. We also like to think of the live streaming layer here. We've got 2K, 4K streaming. That's coming really soon. That's in the progress right now. I think it was almost a chance that I was going to have my stream today in 4K, which was going to be pretty cool, but we didn't quite get there. You know, the VOD user experience, that there you probably would notice on the new web front end that is actually much better, but we understand that has to be, you know, done perfectly. You probably actually notice if you take a look at your URL, you also see VOD scrubbing available on that right now. So that's been done. So VOD UX, incredibly important. Mobile streaming, we recognize massive potential around that. Obviously, the fact that the IRL sort of sector and everything that comes with that is incredibly important. So being able to allow people to stream throughout the app, you know, short format and how we can sort of expand on that, that's kind of coming soon. You know, that's kind of on that live streaming section. Then there's obviously integrations. Everyone's always talking about the public API. That there is the big one that we want to get right. We want to get the right governance around it. We want to get the right documentation around it. We want to make sure it's a really reliable and well organized API, which is going to allow, you know, everyone to build on top of and have a lot of faith in. You know, coming up next, right after that's released, is obviously the likes of Stream Elements, Streamlabs, you know, better integrations with the likes of Steam, Streams Charts. We've got these conversations running with these guys in parallel. Of course, we can't really start those until we get that public API out. But again, this is a very high level sort of overview, just kind of recognizing everything that needs to be done and what we almost consider kind of product parity when it comes to Kick. So, you know, just kind of sharing this one. This one's actually available on Kick community now. There should be a blog post about it. So if anyone wants to check this out, you know, feel free to. But again, this hopefully answers a few questions around that timeline. A lot of the stuff in doing, it's all happening in parallel, which is great. Like beforehand, we used to be very single threaded. We'd have like, you know, one thing we're working on, the next thing we're working on. You know, here at Kick now, we have lots of things all happening at once. The team has scaled, you know, incredibly. We have different work streams all working on all these features at once, you know, getting them to a really great spot. So again, I'd like to think a lot of this is coming a lot quicker than we would have anticipated sort of previously. But once again, it comes back to that foundation. So, you know, really happy to share this one. We'll keep adding to it as time goes on. Obviously, we want to try to get some more unique, some more sort of, you know, I like to think of sort of groundbreaking updates included in there too. We have some crazy ideas, but, you know, the crazy ideas I think should only come after the requirements are met almost. So these are almost what we call the requirements, the baseline, the parity that we want to reach. And, yeah, again, guys can access that on Kick community now, actually. So feel free to take a look at that if you want to.
Hey, real quick, just to jump in, because we're way over time and deservedly so. This stuff needs a lot of attention. that Kick roadmap, we're going to be adding a lot more stuff to it. There's a lot of stuff, me personally, that I want to start adding to it, with the stuff that I'm overseeing. But this is also going to be very interactive, right? Like, this is just a roadmap of our roadmap, right? We totally expect this to be something that you can click on, get a summary of what's going on, what we've sunsetted, what we're thinking about bringing on. But we also want to make it clear that we have bigger fish to fry other than trying to build this out, right? So we want to concentrate on continuing to build a site, but we want this roadmap to be highly interactive. And then also intake, right? Like suggestions, right? Like there's going to be a suggestion area where it's like, so that other pikes of the world can drop suggestions and why, and we can have that back and forth. But Pike, I'm going to give you 10 seconds to wrap it up for us, and then I'm going to bring Dubz in because he's been patient, and so is Panda. So thanks for coming on, man. Big time.
I'm sorry I took so much time. I'll probably tweet out something that's like, hey, here's some other things I didn't cover, but really appreciate like the feedback. Really appreciate like having this conversation. I think it was a lot of good things that, at least me being a viewer and a mod, that I think were shown and discussed, that I think will kind of go a long way there and kind of moving the needle forward, so to say. So appreciate it.
Hey, Pike,
Sweet,
man, you're an
man.
absolute legend. Thank you so much for coming on, and thank you for all the really great feedback. Every single word you said there was gold, and I think that's why you're so well looked up upon in this scene, and why we can rely on you for all the right reasons. So just really, really appreciate it, man.
Yep. Thank you so much.
I DM'd you the image, the roadmap image, if you want to use it for a post or anything. But please share the link to the blog too, if you have a minute. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna go nitpick the blog. Don't worry. But yeah, thank y'all. Y'all have a good one.
Thanks, man.
Sorry, Panda and Dubz.
No. Nice, man. That was great.
Pike's so great. That's awesome. It's so cool to speak about the product. I think having that roadmap out there is going to be so much help to continuously address some of these questions that come up all the time. It's like, when's console? When's this? When's that? I think it's just going to always be that kind of one thing we link back to all the time. It's like, all right, it's there. We're on it. It's in doing. So, exciting stuff.
Command roadmap, man. Real quick, I'm going to just drag Dubz over, man, because he's our next guest. And I'm going to intro him while we got him here. We got Dubz music up. This guy has been a pillar of the partner community for a while. He's part of our phase streamers. He's very outspoken. He's very man, where do I even start? Like, around music, it's hard to break through on music. Okay, it's especially on Kick or on Twitch or on Facebook or anywhere else, right? But this guy puts on a concert every night. He's like the male version of BB Jess. All right, he's just a good time. You go in there and you forget about all your problems. But he also hustles. He does the Underground Uprise. It's in its second season. It just wrapped last night. But for anyone who doesn't know about the Underground Uprise, him and Amaze are co-hosts. These two together, Eddie, I know I hear you talk about Amaze a lot, but Dubz is that vibe also, man. And they've put together a show where they bring artists from all platforms to come to Kick, and they pair them together and they produce music. It isn't like American Idol where you just throw them up on stage and they sing. They actually produce music. They're actually mixing. They're actually laying down tracks. They're actually and we have just scratched the surface of this concept because they're bringing the finished product. Like in live streaming, we have the opportunity to watch them piece this thing together, right? On stream. That's the beautiful thing about live streaming. The other thing about Dubz is that this man performed at DreamHack for us in Dallas. This man has brought his community over to Kick and just doubled down. So I just want to express to all the musicians out there that we understand that it's so hard to make it in the live streaming world, but it's even doubly hard to bring your community over to this platform to do your thing, and just creative channels in general, right? So guys like Amaze, guys like Dubz, people like Sabrina Solo Show, who's taking a small hiatus, people like Destro, people like Met's Glass Design, people like, C Not Bush, who does sculpting. I'm just saying overall, we at Kick are really trying to focus on the creative side, on the arts. And Dubz and Amaze are really like two flagship streamers that speak out big time on behalf of the creator environment. So I think I've gassed them up enough. I'm going to kick it over to Dubz. Dubz, you just came off the finale of Uprise season 2. Eddie, I think I sent you a clip in the episode 5 thread of Kinetic winning. But I'm going to kick it over to Dubz so he can just kind of introduce himself.
Yeah, man. Hey, thank you. Amazing intro. I appreciate you guys for having me. Yeah, man, I think you said it the best. I kind of want to be a light for the people that don't know what to do on the creative side of things, because like you said, it's hard to make it in live streaming, but it's very hard to make it as a musician or someone doing something creative or an art, because a lot of people, when they think live streaming, they think video games or they think IRL stuff or anything like that. So to have the support from you guys is huge, and I can tell you how much all of the musicians appreciate it. And yeah, like you said, we just came off the Underground Uprise last night, finished out the finale. It was an amazing season 2. We learned through everything that we've been doing. It's been a very much a learning process, and we're excited for the future of this, man. So it's gonna be a long road ahead, but I have very big ideas for things that I want to do inside of not only the Underground Uprise, but alongside of Kick and everything else that goes on with the platform. I have a huge I guess I have a lot of faith in what we can do here, because I know it's different. I know we have a lot of talent on the platform. We have new talent coming every single day, and I guess that kind of starts with where I wanted to start with all of this, man. I kind of do want to know what you guys think of the future of music on Kick, because obviously we see where it is now. We see where it started. We see where it's gone. Where do you see this being in 2-3 years down the line, where, maybe we can have, like you said, DreamHack being performing at DreamHack, having these shows, having different artists come on and do their thing, from DJs to singers to piano artists. Where do you see this going in 2 to 3 years?
Yeah, when it comes to the art, music, sort of creative sort of side of live streaming, like the potential is there, right? Like I think you said it really well just then. Like it's super hard to make it in live streaming. It's super difficult to make it in music as well, right? And you kind of combine the two together, and you've got an uphill battle, right? It is hard. It's hard work. It's compared to some other forms of live streaming, so much effort goes into it, not to mention when you're combining it with the likes of what you're doing and sort of building shows around it as well. Again, just hats off to you, Dubz, on everything you're achieving, and, other people in this sort of music sections that Andrew, you mentioned a few really great names just before, and all the people that put their, heart and soul into it. It's great. And I think, on the back of that, if we have the right people who are willing to put in the time, the effort to make high value productions, like, us as a platform, speaking on behalf of Kick, our job's to try to make sure that as many eyeballs can get on that, because that is real content. That's high value content that people are going to love. Like, people love music. People love getting involved in creative streams that have high value quality productions. So, it's something that's almost a no-brainer. It's going to resonate with all types of people, and it's something which really differentiates the platform. I always say this, right? Gaming's got to be the backbone of Kick, but if we can find ways to kind of separate out and differentiate it, then, by all means, we need to support that and support the growth of it. So, that's why when we see the likes of yourself and other incredible creators moving to the platform and giving it a crack, we put our full weight behind it straight away. So, what that looks like in the future, I think, we're starting to really sort of scratch the surface in terms of how we can better get behind it. I think from our side as a platform, I mentioned this a lot when I was speaking to Lucci. I think a big differentiation between Kick is we understand we need to invest in our creators and give them the resources to kind of, go out there and make a difference and put on the shows they want to do. And, for someone like yourself, the sky's really the limit in terms of what that kind of can entail. So, it's not just about getting behind you guys from a visibility perspective. It's about getting behind you guys from like a production perspective. And I like to see a future where we have like, say, 5 to 10, maybe even 20 or 30 sort of, really trusted creators in that scene, in that category, that we can go, all right, if they want to do that, we're going to support them 100% of the way. Similar to some of how the other IRL streamers or other streamers kind of, they want to put on events and whatnot. We quickly get behind them. We want to do the same in the music category, in the creative categories as well, because, the upside from that is going to be insane. So 2 to 3 years from now, I'd like to say that there will be, a handful of people who kind of almost resonate as being kind of these Kick homegrown sort of streamers that are hopefully, known not just on Kick, but throughout the internet for the amazing shows and productions they're putting on. Because, I think that I truly think that the way that you can interact with the live stream and combine music into it, I still don't think anyone's quite fully figured it out yet. Like, you see people pushing the boundaries, like, almost every month, and what that's going to look like a year or two from now, I don't know. But all I know is it's getting better. Like, people are coming up with incredible ideas, like you and Amaze, right? Like what you guys are doing, like that's brand new again. Like, it just keeps on getting better and better and better. So, as you guys keep on raising the bar, we're going to be there to support it all the way. And again, if we can see more people like you emerge on the platform, it's honestly one of the best things for the business in general and for the broader community. So yeah, you have our full support, and my hope is that Kick does become synonymous with incredible music and incredible music creators.
Just hey, Dubz, really quick, just to add on what Eddie's saying is that this is hardcore proof of what we are doing. All right, for anyone who's saying like, adding to this, because what Eddie is saying is like us investing in you guys. We've invested in season 1. We've invested in season 2. We want to invest a little bit more in season 3 and keep scaling it. But what your show has done, man, is, I don't know who's aware, but we're doing a Kick featured series programming testing right now. So all through the month, this last month, from the 15th of July to the 15th of August, we're working with 22 creators and saying, hey, you got an idea like Underground Uprise? Well, we're going to give you front page exposure to do this, right? There are other platforms where there's a waiting list. You can sign up to get on the front page. What we are realizing is that, well, what about the people who have Netflix and Hulu viewing habits, right? What about the people who are used to watching serial programming? We got to give these creators an opportunity, not just to do a one and done front page, right? What happens if we give them 21 episodes over the course of 4 to 6 weeks to really develop a series arc and really bring what their idea is to light, right? And develop themselves and realize what it is that they want to do. The other thing to all this, Dubz, is I want to make it clear is like, you bring your authentic selves to everything. Dubz, we do not look at you and say the show posters need to be like this. We do not look at you and say Kick needs to be represented like this. We do not look at you and say that format needs to be like this. We totally ran with what you got going on, right? And I'm an old man, and I was in Hollywood for many, many years, and I cannot tell you how many times that I would take an artist concept and totally shit all over it as a producer because the network demanded that I would, right? Because you had higher up executives saying, well, this really doesn't fit the NBC model. This doesn't really fit the CBS model. This really doesn't fit TNT. And there were so many times where producers just get in the way of the essence of a concept. And over here at Kick, what I'm telling you is that we're developing this so that the streamer brings their authentic selves, because the compartmentalization of communities is such that Dub's community is not like BB Jess's. BB Jess's is not like Destiny's. Destiny's is not like Lucci's. Lucci's is not like Vitali's. So it's very important that the people that y'all are entertaining, that you guys stay authentic to that.
True. And I love that you guys said that you get behind it and you want to scale it, and the people that have Netflix and Hulu viewing habits, because I think that's something that's being tapped into now. And we're seeing the results of it in real time. Huge shout out to Kinetic, who won the Underground Uprise. I was talking about it before. She only made cover music before she won the entire contest. She came season one, didn't win season one, said, you know what, I'm gonna gather myself and come back season two even stronger. Came back season two and went the whole way and won it. And she talked about it last night. She's like, the love that I've gotten from Kick and the staff and the new people that have now seen me in my music really pushed me to go forward in this. So it's not only for the amazing artists and the talent on this platform that can be boosted from that, for any musicians out there and artists of any sort that are wondering, you can do this yourself, but for the viewers as well. And it's like, I want to push this to be an actual show. I want to push this. Like, I have, similar to how Aiden has his warehouse and does things like that. I want to have in the future of Underground Uprise, I want to fly artists out and put them in a studio and pair artists up and do a whole like reality show behind this, and show people real time in the studio, show them, maybe have a losers bracket in real time. Because like when it's a show that's every week, it's hard to do that because we have a time that we're trying to stay on. But when you do something in real life, you know, you can alter things differently to, you know, for the viewing experience. So like, I think doing that, having like a warehouse for music, even to the next point of DreamHack and how Kick and the musicians have been represented at DreamHack. Grim, shout out to Grim, shout out to Maze, myself. We got to go out there and perform, and it was an amazing look for us. Hopefully we get to do it more in the future. But the future of music and Kick and the artists on this platform, I think, is very bright. So for anyone out there that is trying to do something and trying to get into music or art of any sort, whether you're a graphic designer, whether you're an artist, whether you're a singer, rapper, guitarist, engineer, audio engineer like myself too, you can do these things on the platform. And not only will viewers like it, but staff likes it. You heard it from them. They'll tell you themselves. So I think stepping outside of your comfort zone and doing something different is something that's huge, and it's not done enough. People are scared to do that. But I think the future of that is very bright. So I want to also ask, what do you look for in music? Because I know staff is actively looking for new artists. You guys do a very good job of it, of finding new. I always see someone new in the live music category on the carousel every day. So what are you guys looking for in music streamers? For anyone out there that might be watching, that might be an artist or a music streamer or anything like that, what are you looking for them to do to stick out, that you know, to put some support behind them?
I think honestly a big aspect of it is going to come down to the production kind of quality and the actual effort that goes into it. Don't get me wrong, people can just, you know, grab a guitar out and start singing. That's awesome too. We got some incredible people that just, you know, kick back, relax and make music. That's awesome. But there's also people who go the extra mile and go, hold on a second, I can turn my live streaming studio into, you know, a production, right? I think that definitely gets us going, okay, this person's the real deal. They're investing their time, their effort into really going above and beyond and utilizing what streaming has to offer in terms of what, you know, how you can combine it with music. So I think that's a big one. But to be honest with you, I think it just comes down to you know, going live and interacting with the audience at the same time. I think, you know, that's the greatest thing when it comes to live streaming music, is the fact that you're not only getting to perform, but you're real time sort of having these discussions and making it a live experience that people can kind of almost come and join in with, right? And, you know, I use you as a perfect example, you know, BB Jess as well, Amaze, like, you know, the way that you guys are able to kind of like reel in the viewers and turn it into something which is, you know, super special and unlike any other kind of music production out there. That's what we see sort of as the unique sort of aspect of live streaming music. So, you know, that definitely comes up. I think at this moment though, honestly, anyone who comes to Kick and gives it a red hot crack and, you know, puts on a great show, like they're going to get noticed. Like the music category again is something we're scouting for constantly. So anyone who comes along and shows that dedication and gives Kick a shot, like we will return that favor and you know, try our best to give them as much support as we possibly can, because we understand it's hard as well. You know, streaming for 5 hours in a category like that is not, it's more intensive than streaming 5 hours of gaming, right? There's just no two ways about it. As simple as that. So, you know, we respect that, you know, how much effort, time, and how hard it is to kind of put on these shows and to, you know, produce this high level content. So, you know, whenever we have the luxury, the opportunity to have people like yourselves live and embracing that, we're gonna definitely notice and hopefully, you know, continue to back the people that keep doubling down further and going that extra mile, like you're doing with you know, Underground Uprise, right? Like that's just again a prime example of putting in the effort, putting in the hard work, and really just trying to understand how you can find those synergies between live streaming and between music and bringing them together and creating something really special. So you know, again, we'll slowly adapt and figure this out. It's not just static, right? We're learning as well. We're learning what works. You know, we're now learning on the back of, you know, exactly what you're doing with Uprise. We're like, hold on a second, this is so awesome. Like, you know, how do we support more people to create like what you guys are up to, right? Like that's how we kind of look at this is, you know, every day we see a new idea, a new concept come to life, and we're like, okay, we need more of that. Like, give us more of that. Like, how do we get behind it? How do we make that happen more often? So, you know, what we're looking for is certainly not sort of static by any means. And that's a good thing because people are pushing the boundaries, that, you know, raising the bar in terms of what's possible. So, but, you know, to answer the question directly, like at this point, like anyone who wants to come to Kick and, you know, get behind that category, like we're going to notice you immediately. And, you know, we're going to support you as much as you need it.
That's awesome, man. So y'all hear it, man. If you're a musician out there, just give it a shot. And I think doing something outside of yourself and your comfort zone sometimes is cool. Like myself, for example, y'all know me for the Uprise and doing the kicks tapes and the lo-fi hip hop stuff that I do. But I also then started dabbling into the whole dubstep EDM scene, and I will throw a smoke machine in here and put on lasers and throw a whole party. Which I know, Eddie, you've seen. You came before and saw that. So I'll do a little bit of everything, man. So like, and it's fun to do that and step outside of your comfort zone. It helps you grow. It helps you reach different audiences. And I think that's synonymous with streaming, that you need to just step outside your comfort zone and do that. So awesome. I appreciate the answers. And I know time is a thing. So I have one more good question for you, Eddie. I got one more, and I really want to know it. I'm curious to know. If you could listen to one person, one artist, band, artist, singer, anything for the rest of your life, who would you listen to and why? And this is going to give me a good idea of where you stand with music and everything like that. I'm curious to know this. And take your time, because I know it's a hard question. If you have someone you need to look up.
Oh, fuck!
I know.
You really got me here.
This is a good question in music because it helps people understand. I feel like music and the taste that you have in music helps people understand the type of person you are.
Let me throw the question back at you first, just to get an idea. What would that be? What would that be for you first?
Man, if I had to listen to one person for the rest of my life, see, this is hard for me with music. I'd probably have to say Mac Miller. Mac Miller or Lil Wayne, but probably Mac Miller, because there's so many different types of music that he has and does that's resonated hard with me in my life. I know it's a very hard and difficult question. Don't feel so like you're not going to have to listen to it for the rest of your life. You know what I mean? But like, if you can give me one good example, because I can give you a bunch, but I would say off the top of my head, probably Mac Miller, honestly.
Yeah, no, Mac Miller. That's a good one. Fuck, man, you really got me on this one.
This is a hard question. I know. We're here to ask the hard-hitting questions, Eddie.
I'll probably be pretty happy with some. Ooh.
How about this? A genre. If it doesn't have to be an exact artist, a genre.
A genre of music.
Yeah, like classic rock, metal, EDM, rap,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
anything.
I'd say I would be very, very, very content with EDM. Some country music would not be too bad either. I'd take a bit of that. Yeah, I think a bit of EDM will always get me fired up to get stuff done. I love it in the background. I'm always happy to hear that. Right, that's something you can always work with. So I could definitely take that. Bit
Oh,
of
I love
country
that.
too to
All
mix
right.
things up a bit. But I tell you, I'm gonna think more about that question. Fuck, man, I've never actually thought about something like that. I'm conscious that I said the wrong thing there. You're gonna look at me way too deep.
No, see, all right. So you think about that. I want to know your answer. I'm gonna
Yeah,
DM
yeah.
you, and I'm gonna expect an answer from you. I
Andrew,
want to know that.
would you have an answer to that one by any chance, or?
Yeah,
Oh
Andrew,
man,
got
that'd
you.
be. I mean, as far as genre goes, I would go with K-pop and heartbeat. I would go with anything from ITZY, Stray Kids, Blackpink, maybe a little BTS,
Wow.
Red Velvet. So gotten on the K-pop scene with my 10-year-old. She absolutely loves it. So you'll see that your kids start to influence you on some of the things that you start getting into. The thing is, around K-pop, I would have never in a million years,
I would have never expected that from you.
said that. But the thing is that listen, there's something back, about the boy bands that came up in my generation, the New Kids on the Blocks and the NSYNCs and the Backstreet Boys, man, that just kind of I know I'm getting roasted in chat probably, right? But I guess what I'm saying is that generation of music, man, and the K-pop scene and what my daughter starts to listen to, I'm like, oh, like this is triggering some memories, and I totally understand why you like this, So yeah, K-pop maybe with my kid in the room for sure.
Hey, K-pop and
That's
EDM,
awesome.
two good answers, man. I like it. Hey, man, I just want to say once again, thank you so much for you guys having me on. Thank you for supporting the musicians. Thank you for always having a lookout for everyone. I know I could tell you from a musician myself that came over here. It's a night and day. It really is. The support and the energy behind the platform with everything that you guys do is really night and day. It means the world to us. And I know I can speak for myself and my brother Amaze. We're going to keep on pushing. We're going to keep on doing what we're doing. We got a lot of big ideas in the future. Like I said, that warehouse idea is a real thing that I have. We're always cooking on this stuff. So I appreciate you guys for the platform and the energy, man, for real.
Man, you got so excited when you started talking through some of those ideas. Like, I think, if that's something that you guys, really looking to get behind and going to put in the effort on executing well, no different to underground uprise, right? If you can get those things off the ground, like, fuck, they're going to make a dent, right? And again, it kind of just leans into exactly what we want to achieve here. So, man, like, keep crushing it. Like, yeah, we've got your back. We appreciate everything you're doing. Massive fan. We'll be there every step of the way. Keep letting us know what you need assistance with. And we're gonna be here to support it. So, thank you so much for coming on, man. It's been, I think I've dropped by your stream probably 5, 6, 7, 8 times. Had a bit of a back and forth conversation with you, but it's always great to be able to properly jump on a call. I'm gonna make sure I get back to you on that question too. Like, you got me
Please.
super off guard on that one. I got to get you a good answer. I got to match Andrew's answer. Andrew just fucking crushed it. Like, I need to make sure I've got. I'm on par with him there. So, yeah,
Sounds good, man.
Dubz, you're an absolute legend, man. Thank you so much for coming on Kick Talk episode 5, and look forward to talking more in the future, man.
Yes, sir. We will talk soon. Thank you again for the time.
Thanks, Dubz. Oh, that was a great little reasoning you had there, Andrew. That was insightful.
Yeah, man, kids change. Like, I got a 19-year-old kid too, and he kind of introduced me to Imagine Dragons when he was coming up, when they started. It happens between like 11 and 14 when they start developing their tastes in music, and then they start getting really deep, from 14 to 20. But Imagine Dragons, my 19-year-old loved when he was like 9, 10, and started getting into them. And so, yeah, man, like I came up with like Tupac and Beastie Boys and you know, that whole genre of music. And then I just kept listening to that. I didn't listen to anything else until I had kids, because they started playing it in the house like crazy. So I'm like, all right, I can kind of get into this, but I would have never thought I'd get into K-pop, man.
But that was awesome
Yeah.
with having Dubz on there. I think some of those ideas he was talking about just then, like fuck,
Oh,
I was
yeah.
going, I was just kind of picturing like what that could look like, you know, him and Amaze and maybe some others as well. Like fuck, you know, you could really put on something special. Hey, like it. Again, it just goes to show, like, every time you kind of talk to people and hear people out on their ideas and what they want to achieve, you know, it comes back to my fundamental philosophy here that I just feel like live streaming hasn't yet tapped into its full-blown potential. Like, live streaming is in such an early days. It comes back to my beard that the best days of live streaming are yet to come. And it's because I don't think any live streaming platforms have truly gotten ahead and supported some of the incredible ideas that are out there. And, you know, hearing people like Dubz speak about that and what they want to do and how we can, you know, subsequently hopefully make that come to life is just so exciting. And you know, it really fucking fires me up to know that, you know, some of this stuff is in the pipeline. It's cooking away in the background. People are having these ideas. They're having these conversations with their friends. They're out there thinking about how they can really push things to the next level. And, you know, it just makes me want to go, like, how do we get behind them more? So such a great conversation. Such a good bloke. Massive shout out to Dubz. Thanks for coming on, brother.
Yeah, big time. And just to kind of piggyback on what you're saying, you're like something like look at what Vitaly did yesterday, right? Like, he keeps putting more showmanship into the stuff that he's doing. He comes in a helicopter dressed up as the Joker and does his thing. We got another DJ on the platform. Her name's Vanessa Lopez, that has like a complete light show behind her as she's producing. You know, you got Megan Budway and you got Flip Rodriguez, who are Ninja Warrior participants who are taking us into their gymnasium. This is just scratching the surface. And what I'm hoping is that these guys watch these clips and keep giving themselves a shot in the arm of how to produce and how to level up their content, because, you know, you can do it differently with live streaming. You can do it on the fly. You can do it authentically. And we're just removing all of the red tape from it, and, you know, keeping it within reason for sure.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think, yeah, some of those names you mentioned there, just seeing what they've put together is incredible. But, you know, what's next? What's next, really? There's just so much.
Hell yeah, man. All right, I'm going to drag in PandaSkills over here, man. I know we're really excited about having PandaSkills on. I know you are. I know I am. I know when we announced the show poster on this, like, everyone was going wild. Panda, I don't know if your camera's up. I know you're multicasting right now or live streaming at the same time. But
oh, sorry, brother. 1 second. My camera on now. Here we go, big brother.
How's it going, Panda?
what's up, Panda?
Hey, how we doing?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Very well, thank you. We got you on here. You woke up in time. I remember we were having the conversation, your channel, trying to organize a time, and we were like figuring out, oh shit, you're on the West Coast. That's going to mean it's going to be an early morning.
Yeah, it's early. It's early for me, a little bit, but it's okay. I'm gonna wake.
Hey, Panda, just
No,
quickly. Oh, so you go, Andrew. You go, Andrew.
No. I was just gonna gas him up just a little. He needs very little introduction, but my own experience with Panda, he came through on AAPI month, right? Najin set up AAPI month last year for May. We got this guy named PandaSkills, and start watching this dude, and he's going into COD lobbies with that voice that you just heard. And he's completely trolling the absolute hell out of everybody. But I was not in on his stick, right? I, like, for a good 2 or 3 streams, I legitimately thought that this is who this guy was, man. I legitimately thought that he was out of Thailand somewhere, just fucking doing his thing, right? And the more I'm watching it, I'm like, this bastard is trolling the shit out of people, man. And people are completely buying into it. And he's got people who he goes in with, right? That support him and doing this. And so he's got this entire team of COD players who are lifting him, and it makes it feel like this is the real deal. So just kind of want to put it out there that and then I got the chance to meet Panda in person at Loot Fest, and he talked to me about his journey and finding his voice and the years that it took to find that. So I just want to make it clear, like, this was like not like an out of the box PandaSkills thing. This was like years and years of evolving, walking away, tooling it, thinking about quitting, and then comes out with the refined product that you guys have seen on Kick.
Well, thank you. Yeah. So I guess a little bit about me. I'm PandaSkills. I like to play the video game, have a good time. I started streaming like 4 years ago. And I wanted to be like a creator. I like entertaining people. I love making people laugh. I love to have fun. And so I tried to do the whole Call of Duty thing, the gaming stuff, and the here's the loadouts, and it just really wasn't me. IRL, I do the accent IRL all the time. When I'm out and about with my family, my friends, I like to embarrass them. I like to troll people. And I never did it on the internet because it's like I wanted to be more than just an Asian. But really, I am just an Asian. So I was like, I'm just gonna be me on the internet, and so I am me. So I started doing that. I did quit streaming back in February of 2023, and then I kind of blew up through my content. From there, air quotes, blow up. I'm not really a big streamer, or that's subjective. But yeah, I found success. We'll say that. And so I leaned into who I am and my heritage of things, and I went from there. And then Kick came along, and shout out to Majin for representing the Asian community, because I truly feel that the Asian community is a very underrated community. We're just known for making Nikes and phones and stuff like that. I make a lot of racist jokes, so deal with it. I don't care. And so yeah, that's kind of my journey. I am married. I have 4 kids. I served in the U.S. military. I am 100% American. I was born on U.S. soil, but I am Vietnamese and Filipino. So anybody that's like, hey, not the Asian, he's Mexican. I the Asian. Trust me. It's the egg roll. So yeah, that's probably.
Hey Panda, just a couple of questions from my side, man. It's an awesome introduction. Before we kind of hand it over to you, but you mentioned it. You mentioned it before, right? It's kind of like figuring out like kind of what works for you. Like I think that journey sounds like really interesting. Obviously, you streamed for a while, and then you like you mentioned, you kind of like gave it up for a bit, or almost kind of quit it for good, before you found like this almost unique voice in streaming, which I think, again, I think a lot of people can kind of like take away from that, because a lot of people are kind of trying to figure that out. Like streaming, you have to find a way to differentiate yourself. And, you did that, right? You kind of figured out what worked, and subsequent, like you said, you kind of blew up, right? You started getting an audience, and, getting there. That's such an awesome sort of story. How did that kind of come across? Like, were you kind of seeking that sort of unique avenue, or did it just, kind of pop up one day?
Oh, that's a great question. Yeah. So, I mean, as a streamer and as a small streamer, you're trying to figure out what works for you, and you try tons of different things. And honestly, what I found was that I just unapologetically leaned into my personality. The way I see it is, everybody has a best friend that like you could just sit on a couch and just have the best time. You don't have to be watching anything. You don't have to be doing anything. Whatever that is and how you are with that person, be that way in your stream and in your content. Just be you. That's it. Like literally unapologetically you, and you'll find your community. You'll find your people. There's billions of people on the planet. They're bound to have at least 500 of people that are just like you, right? You just haven't found them yet. And then you find that, you put that into your stuff. And that's basically what I did, is just, I said, I'm just gonna be me and not be this, what I think I should be. Cause you watch a lot of streamers, they do this, they do that. And you're like, well, I'm gonna try and be like, for instance, I'm in the COD community, like the Tim the Tap Man. Or I'm going to try to be like the Stone Mountain 64. And you can take those things that their qualities that they have and apply it to your own content, which is what I've done with myself. But I still am myself. right? And I try to put that through everything that I do. And when I go live and just put on a performance, you guys were talking about, when you go live, you have to put on a performance. I see it as when I go live, I'm literally on a stage doing a performance, like a stand-up comedy show, or you go to a musical or a play of some sort. I do that, or at least I try to do that. Sometimes it's harder than others, and if it's hard, then don't stream. You know, take a day and then come back. It's like what Andrew was saying with Vitali, like putting on a whole performance and putting on a show, and then you make it a reoccurring series so people want to keep coming back because they can't get enough, or they can't wait to see what's the next thing you're gonna do. You know.
Yeah, no, I think that's such an awesome point to touch on, right? Is like literally finding something that what I guess resonates with exactly who you are, right? Like that can be usually the most important thing. I think a lot of people, go out there and stream it and don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with this, but put on a completely new persona as well and try to kind of mimic a certain sort of way of being, but I guess that can be incredibly tiring, right? If you can find a way to kind of almost make that work with something that is almost authentically you, then that's awesome, right? That's like you're not having to, you found a perfect match almost. So it's great that was kind of the trick for you, was like almost not trying to go down a specific avenue. It was just like, I'm going to do me, and it worked out.
True. Yeah. I mean, it does help that I'm Asian, and I'm doing an Asian persona for sure. So yeah, that definitely helps. But yeah, that's what I'm doing, and had a good time doing.
Hell yeah.
No problem.
Hell yeah. Well, one more from me, man, before I hand over to you. But like I think I remember you were streaming from your hospital bed, right? Like things have gone a bit south, sort of in terms of health, and you're in the hospital, right? But you were sitting there still checking in with your community whilst you kind of faced health issues, speaking to them, I think that's just a testament to this incredible bond that you must have with your community and the stream that you built up. Like the fact that you're sitting there, obviously things aren't going great, but you're taking the time to kind of fill them in and take them on that kind of journey, keep them updated on how everything's going. Like I just want to, flag that as that's just, quite inspiring in terms of what you kind of put together there. And, obviously all the support that you received subsequently was incredible. I guess what your emphasis on building a tight-knit community and what that represents for your broader streaming career is obviously something you've kind of fully tapped into and done an incredible job with.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. For some that don't know, my lung collapsed about a month ago. It's a injury that I suffered. It's an ongoing injury that I suffered during my time in the U.S. military. My lung collapsed when I was deployed in Afghanistan in 2010. And then I dealt with a lot of breathing issues and all that stuff. And then it recollapsed a month ago. So about 14 years to the date. And so, yeah, I was dealing with issues and whatnot. And, I was in the hospital and laid up, and I basically, my left side of my rib cage looks like I got shot with a shotgun. It's still numb. They did a bunch of nerve blockers and all that stuff. But I was at the hospital, and I mean, thanks to you guys doing the UI or not the UI, but having the streaming from the mobile app. When you guys were testing that stuff, you guys gave me access to that, and I was able to go live from my phone while I was in the hospital to just keep up with everybody. Because I was sitting there, I was doing nothing except for watching a TV show, And so luckily to that, I was able to connect, and it was great. And I like to build a true community, and a huge shout out to my community and just kicking itself to give me somebody to talk to and latch on to during my recovery phase and all that stuff, and all the awesome people we've met and I've met through this whole journey. It's been amazing.
Oh man, that's awesome. That's awesome. I'm glad you're feeling much better now. Everything's good.
Yeah, I'm recovering. So yeah, I guess it's my turn for questions.
Oh wait, sorry, one more. Can you just quickly tell us about your kick thumbnails?
Okay, see, that's not me, Eddie. That's you and y'all's team. All right, that's not me.
That's not true, man. You've got the timing down. I know that you planned this shit out. you've caught on when these thumbnails are going to be taking place because they're
Maybe.
insane, man.
Maybe. Yeah. It's when you're gonna be there somewhere on the page somewhere, you take full advantage of it. That's the other thing. When opportunity comes to knock, and you open the door.
Hey, good stuff, man. So I'll leave you to it now. It's all yours.
Okay. So I don't have like really important kick stuff to talk about, like the other two gentlemen before me. For me, so I work. This is a part-time gig for me. So I work in the aerospace industry. I do inventory analysis stuff and whatnot. And one of the questions I wanted to know, because you are so young and so successful, because I got like 10 years on you. I know it doesn't look like that, but that's that Asian glow that I have. But what I want to know, what are some of the key attributes or characteristics that you think that got you to the success that you're at? And the reason why I'm asking this is, and I think it applies to some of us creators and streamers, is because we are our own CEO of our own brand and our own business, right? Because some of this is a business. And so I'd like to see if there is some correlation with what you found in your success, and could it be applied to my own business of PandaSkills or anybody else, or Dubz music's business, or the other streamers in the world.
Yeah, no, I think the biggest thing that I've always put a ton of emphasis on in business, right? And strictly talking about business here, has been making sure that when you're building out a team, or you're looking to work with people to kind of further stuff, you can look towards getting the people with the best skill set, or the most sort of experience, or whatever that might look like. But biggest thing that I've always emphasized a lot is surrounding your people with people you can trust, right? People you can trust to delegate tasks, and can trust to make the right decisions. Me, in business, I'm very rarely the one calling the shots, right? Because I've got such an incredible team around me that I trust completely. People that I've worked with for a really long time, that are incredibly capable, who have the right ethic towards what we're trying to achieve, believe in the long-term goals. I think it's just about surrounding yourself with key individuals that are going to help carry you to whatever you want to achieve, right? And I think there's so many people out there. It's just making sure you pick those right people to surround yourself with, even if you're talking about a small sort of business, or whether you're talking about a streaming career. I think really does apply in the same way. Surround yourself with the right people who are on board with what you want to achieve. Because if you've got a goal that you're setting out to go about reaching, people are going to want to buy in. And if they're going to buy in, make sure you pick the right people. Because all it takes is surround yourself with one or two bad eggs, and before you know it, it can all come crashing down. And I think that trust factor, and knowing that you have those people you can rely on to keep things running and keep things moving in a positive direction, is just paramount. It's how we've done it with all business ventures. It's been about finding the right people, and just trusting them to continue to push things forward, and supplying that vision, and finding those people who align with it, right? It's and everything else kind of typically will fall into place for there. And I think, for streamers especially, I think, streamers typically, who you associate with, who you work closely with, who you trust, that is a delicate landscape, right? And I think that applies equally to an extent as well. I think, be careful of who you choose to, work very closely with and rely on for your success, and how you put that forward. They're big decisions, right? They are really big decisions. So, if I could, shed something that's worked out well for me, it has been that, just being very careful about who we pick to work with, and then, making sure to always leverage those trusted parties to give them more responsibilities, more access to do more and achieve more, and help us on those journeys, really.
Great answer. Great answer. I love that. I 100% agree with that. At least that's what I have found with my success, is just having a solid team with you, behind you, to help you make these decisions, and navigate through whatever aspect that you're navigating through. Which, you know, W, shout out to my mods, and huge shout out to my counterpart that helps me, that Andrew was talking about, that helps me troll these people, is JB, who streams every now and then on Kick. She doesn't stream very often. She's kind of too busy working. But when she does, you know, so having that team is huge. It's so important. And I love hearing that from you, because it doesn't always have to be necessarily all on the streamer, all on the content creator, right? You know, you can lean on some people, and I do it a lot. I do it a lot with my team, to help me build what I'm trying to build here. So love that, and I hope everybody that is a content creator and that is a streamer takes that to heart, and finds that circle, But yes, you're right though. It is, you got to be careful. There's some bad eggs out there, man. Oh my god, they're so dangerous. They just want to take advantage of you, man. That's you.
Yeah, no, I think we've been super lucky, right? I think, yeah, you just got to be careful. It's sometimes it's, yeah, there's bad eggs. Keep an eye out for it, and surround yourself with that kind of positivity. It's gonna always go a hell of a long way.
Yeah, absolutely. And to be honest, I don't really have any other questions. That was just it. I just want to know, just the, you know, being the young successful person that you are, and how you got to where you be, and that was it. Honestly, like, W's, huge shout out to you for doing what you're doing, and being able to accomplish the things that you have accomplished. That's massive. You know, I'm sure you probably, I'm sure you get a lot of praises, and like, you know, W, Eddie, and Eddie's awesome, which I'm not belittling that, but like, you know, you probably don't pause very often and be like, wow, I've accomplished a lot of stuff in my life in the years that you've been on this planet. So like, that's impressive. It's very much impressive. So pat yourself on the back, because that's, god dang.
That means a lot coming from you, man. Thank you so much. I'll tell you what though, like I look back and see what we still have yet to achieve, and I like to think, you know, we're only really just kind of getting started. So, you know, I guess, you know, it is important though to kind of go, hold on a second, like we're doing all right. You know, take inventory, and you know, definitely celebrate the successes, celebrate the small wins, the milestones along the way. But yeah, no, I think the biggest thing is we're not. I'm personally, or you know, when I speak on behalf of the team that you know works here, we're not getting complacent. You know, whilst we may be on a good wicket and all that, where, you know, we still recognize that there's so much bigger things to achieve, massive goals to achieve, and you know, we just can't wait to take, you know, whether it's yourself or anyone else for that matter, you know, on that ride with us, because you know, we're pretty confident in what we're doing, especially here with Kick and whatever other business ventures we have going on as well. So you know, but man, it means a lot coming for you. Thank you very much for those incredibly kind words.
Yeah, absolutely. And hopefully Pike keeps you guys on your toes, because I know he does a great job of that. Because that stuff, that's all beyond me. The UI stuff and whatnot. I'm just here to make silly content, and I'm looking forward to all the stuff that you guys are doing and all the updates. I do have one last thing, and this is a hot take. This is probably a hot take for a lot of people, for a lot of streamers. But low key, I kind of want ads. Not like you guys force the ads on people, but I want to be able to control ads. Like if I want to, you know, be able to be like a little Panda Express banner on the bottom of my stream, let me shove some Panda Express down somebody's throat. Get me a couple of cents, couple of dollars. You know,
Yeah.
I know it's a hot take, but you know, being able to control that, and it's just another revenue stream.
No, I think that's
opinion,
something we've toyed with, right? So when it comes to, we touched on this about 2 weeks ago with when Dave was on, but the advertising on Kick and how we go about advertising is a huge project, right? It's a huge project. A lot of people just think you just put ads on and you're good to go. Like creating an advertisement network where you kind of link up the right advertisers with the right creators, and everything that comes with that is a massive task. The analytics, the data involved, everything, the back office, it's incredibly, it's a huge undertaking. You know, and a way we kind of look at that is like, you know, phasing ads out in a way that you almost just exactly explained is almost giving the the creator the ability to kind of run ads on their own accordance, run their own deals as we build out the platform to sort of almost bring the right advertisers with the right creators. So, what you mentioned there would almost be kind of phase one of what ads looks like, and give you 100%, maybe 95% of the revenue kind of thing, almost, or you could just run the deals yourself almost, and for example, team up with Panda Express and be like, yo, I run this ad every 30 minutes for 1 minute and you pay me X, Y, Z, right? And again, I think that's kind of going to be the very, very surface level of what we want to achieve, and maybe that will also hold a place in how we in how we kind of develop out and a unique selling point for what advertising does look like on Kick when it comes to fruition. But to be one thing I would recommend though is you obviously have the ability to just add like an OBS sort of like scene almost in to kind of run an ad like within your stream, right? Like, have you ever thought about doing that?
Oh yeah. I have, I've considered it and whatnot. I was just seeing it as a bigger scheme thing. I don't know the whole back end stuff and whatnot, but it was just being able to have full control and not one of those like ads where it's like the whole screen. I'm not trying to
like a little banner ad,
like a little banner thing, just a little banner thing, which would help, in my opinion, bring companies to Kick that are like, okay, all right, we could start working with Kick on whatever it is. If I can run a little banner on the bottom that it's like, maybe 20 or 15% of the screen or something. I don't know. I'm just saying it's a possibility, but that's like Pike's world. I don't know that stuff. I just know it might be another revenue thing that we could take advantage of, that our communities would like to support, because there's some, and I've had some of my community members like, I don't have the money to send subs, but I'll watch ads for you for 10 seconds, or I'll watch ads for you for 30 seconds, So then it's like,
Real quick, I want to jump in on this because I totally agree with you on the ads front, right? It's another revenue stream if you so choose to participate, right? Like it's not shoved down your face. Like, I cannot stand going to a platform, there's 8 minutes of ads. You totally lit up chat, right? Chat definitely has an opinion on ads, right? They have a massive opinion. However, we are exploring ways that these ads are non-intrusive and work with the flow of the stream, right? Like before you know it, an ad is there and gone, and you don't even realize it, and you're like, "Holy shit, that was just an ad," right? But I kind of like what YouTube does, where they allow you to opt in. You can have skippable ads, or you just don't do ads at all, right? But I think that there's a different way of doing this where you take out the middleman. It's back to the conversation with Dubz Music, which was you take out the producers that water down the content. I would love to see a Kick that connects the dots, right? If Panda Express comes up and says, "Hey, we want to work with streamers," and we're like, "Hey, here's a dashboard where you can go find your own damn streamers, and you can broker a deal, and you can do the thing," right? Like and it's easy. And then to your point, Panda, you're kind of like, "Look, I'm not an analytics guy. I'm not going to go out there and make these phone calls. I just entertain," right? So the idea of taking a media buyer from, like, let's say Panda Express and then PandaSkills, and then creating the tools that will marry you guys together, and you guys go off into the sunset and do your own thing, right? For me, I think that would be the perfect opportunity. I think AI can open up a lot of opportunity in doing non-intrusive ads. And then also to chat, guys, like, this isn't something that would take over the screen. This isn't something that's intrusive, and it's just a new way of running the ads. But I think the old days of a 30-second ad popping up and you have to watch it, I think that those are going away fast. And I'm also seeing a lot more platforms trying to reinvent the way that they work with advertisers.
Yeah, 100%. Like, chat, calm down, mother brother. Oh my god, dude, man. Like, chill, dude. I wasn't talking about, oh, let's have 130% just full screen ads. My God, the people on the internet.
It
Jesus.
seems like
I'm tired
people
of
are
making
almost like
people-
got PTSD from the ads or something. You definitely struck a
Yeah,
chord
man.
there. Like,
Oh yeah, no, I get it. I hate going to the other places and then I'm getting hit with like 5 minutes of ads and it's full screen. Like I don't want that either. All right?
Non-skippable. You can't even skip them.
Like I can't skip them. I'm stuck there watching 5 minutes of shit I don't even buy. Like, calm down. I'm talking about a smaller, less intrusive way for the streamers that you love watching to make a couple of extra cents. All right.
Okay,
I think
look,
what you mentioned most
imagine-
importantly there, right,
Go ahead.
is the extra revenue stream, right? I think that's one thing that, again, our job as a platform is to give you all the tools that you want to use. You don't have to use them all, right? Like, you don't have to use everything, but here's our tools that we offer you. Like, pick and choose what you want to use, right? So, like, again, if that's an extra revenue stream that you want to take down and then your audience knows, hey, look, I'm running that, then, you know, by all means, like, and I think that is very much kind of like a phase one of what we want to achieve. And, you know, making sure that everyone, you know, gets subsidized in a correct and fair manner is kind of exactly what our job is. So, you know, I completely agree with you. As much as I dislike ads as well, and I think we've got a very hard take on how we want to deal with ads. Like, we don't want to end up with you know, a situation whereby people are leaving the platform and leaving streams because they're just inundated with ad after ad after ad after ad, because that's a shit experience. You know, at the same time, it is a revenue stream, and revenue streams aren't just, you know, important for the platform. They're important for people like yourself. So it's about, again, striking that balance. And I think balance is exactly what we're going to aim for. Good news is though, you know, for the chat out there going, oh shit, don't add ads. But yeah, ads aren't coming for any time soon. We keep enjoying, you know, ad-free Kick. I think that's something that people don't celebrate enough or realize how big it is. You know, me personally, I don't really realize how good Kick is without ads until I go to another place and I'm like, oh fuck, like this is tough. You know, you kind of get spoiled and then you only realize later on. Like, you know, I see a lot of people kind of, you know, going back to other platforms for a bit and then they quickly kind of return. And, you know, and a big part about that sometimes is ads and what they're forced to run. They're forced to run.
I agree. 100% agree.
Panda, to add one more thing, because there was another nuanced thing that you said in there, right? Like, you have people who say, hey, I don't have money to donate to you, or blah, 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 and, you know, ads, right? However, you are on KCIP, all right? And I have seen a lot of people take the angle of, if you don't have money to sub me, just watch me, because that helps my KCIP analytics, right? Like, the more rambunctious your audience is, the more people that are viewing you, the more people that come to the platform, that does fluctuate your KCIP earnings, right? So I think that we have to reinvent that perception. Does that make sense? We have to we have to retrain, all right? We have to substitute ads for viewership, right? We have to say, like, why is ads the only way that I can monetize what I'm doing, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I agree. So watch me, guys, because I'm in KCIP.
Hell yeah. No, well, that's exactly it. People watching you, that's a currency now. Viewing is a currency, and it's a support, and that's for sure.
Oh yeah.
I
so
saw
that, I
somebody
mean,
in chat
that's,
say this is a
no,
replay. It's not a replay. We're live. Well, this is not a replay. It's not a VOD.
But yeah, I don't have anything else. I mean, if you have any other questions that you want to ask me or whatever, I'm an open book. I'm down to talk about what you want to talk.
No, I mean, I think I'm, you know, on my end, like, you know, I'm just curious, like, Facebook coming over to Kick, like, what has the difference been for you? What was it like coming over from Facebook to Kick? Like, what was the vibe at that point, making that jump, and how are you finding it now, right? Like, have you thought about going back to Facebook? And if you haven't, why not? Like, I want to kind of get a sense of you bringing over your community, and how has Kick helped you out in evolving what you're doing?
Yeah. So on Facebook, I mean, they're in shambles. There's no way around it. Offline content, still does well, but like live streaming is not a thing there. It's bad. It's really bad. And then I wasn't successful until or I didn't find success until February of 2023, and then you guys kind of showed up there right then and there. So as soon as I kind of grew that success, I kind of jumped ship and started phasing into Kick, because all the signs were there and all the other individuals that were on Facebook moved over to Kick as well. So the transition wasn't bad. I had to do a lot of uh, multi-streaming ish things, and then giving FOMO of like, hey, all right, we're live here now. You know, if you want to watch the fun stuff, you got to come over here, kind of thing. So a lot of different tactics of getting them from one platform to the other. Um, but now being on Kick, it's been pretty freaking great. Um, as me doing this part time, I found a lot of success in this. But again, I've also been doing this for 4 years, and I constantly am trying to make my content and my streams better than the last one. Every time I try to post something, it's always trying to one up the next one and the next one and the next one. So I just put a lot of focus in that. And I just stay in my lane and mind my damn business. I'm a very mind my own damn business kind of guy.
That's awesome, man. I tell you what, I appreciate you making that plunge, because I think people don't realize like how scary that is, right? Kind of like trying to move your whole entire streaming sort of like community over to another platform. That's no small undertaking. That's a true commitment, and obviously we really appreciate that, and hoping that it's paying off exactly how you kind of hoped it to, and again how we can continue to support you and make sure that you go, yep, I've made the made the right choice and didn't kind of head on over the wrong place. So that's our job now, to kind of like continue to look out for you and make sure we ensure your success and see you through, and how we can again take what you're creating, incredible content, and get it the viewership, get it the the love it deserves, and help see you rise up and get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Maybe this doesn't become a part-time thing, right? That's the goal. Maybe this is becomes full-time soon, eh? Who knows?
Yeah, hopefully, and I'm working on those things to make it a full time thing. I feel like Kick as a whole has supported me and given me the needs and things that I've requested, or if I have issues or anything like that. I know I can reach out and I'll get a response. Right, that's huge. Facebook, pff, I wouldn't know where to message to get help with anything. You know what I mean? So like being able to just reach out and get a human response is huge. So that's a W's there. And then it's on me to figure out my own content, right? Yes, do I want Kick to take care of all their issues and implement the things that they need to implement, and fix things and whatnot? Yeah, absolutely. But it's also on me as a creator to be in charge of my own journey, right? That's on me. That's not on Eddie or Andrew to make me successful. That's me. That's my job. And you guys are just giving me the avenue into to go that way. You give me the pathway that I can take. And if I want to go down that road,
You mean if chat, if I post a message in chat and it shows up immediately, you mean that won't just automatically make you successful as a creator? Is that
Oh,
is
yeah.
that what you're saying?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
No, I think that's a big part, right? I think the success of streaming, it's really hard work, really hard work. I keep reiterating this all the time, right? I think people realize exactly how hard it is to make it in live streaming, and I guess it's easy to get caught up in like all the other variables, but ultimately it doesn't really matter where you are to an extent. It comes down to the effort and time and how much work you're putting in, and I think subsequently, when people are successful at live streaming, they got no one to thank but themselves, right? Them and their team, right? It's you don't sit there and go, oh, thank you, so and so for helping me, create this incredible content. You got all the glory, and that's on the back of what you do well, right? That's and subsequently, if things aren't going well, most of the time it's probably because things aren't working out on the content side as well. So, again, the platform plays an incredible part in that. And, again, we got so much we need to deliver on, Park was saying, but, you keep crushing it. You keep doing what you're doing. It's obviously it's working, right? It's going really well. And I think, it can only go up from here, I think.
It could only go. I mean, it could go down a little bit, but that's the ebb and flow of being a content creator and a streamer. And one thing that I always look at is like if other people can do it, and I know it's probably maybe it's cliche. I don't know. But if other people are doing it, then you have the potential of doing it too. It's just you might have to put in more work than others, maybe. Maybe it's easier for others. Who knows? But like that's the whole journey of being an online influencer, content creator, streamer. You got to put in the work, and yeah, some people get lucky, sure, but you just keep working at it, and then you never know where you'll be in 5 years. Who knows?
Oh yeah, no, that's it, man. That's it. Well, let's see where we're at in 5 years. I think give it even less. Let's give it even less, and I think things are looking promising.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd hope I have met you in person in the next 5 years. I will say that.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. I was speaking about this earlier today, but I've definitely got to get out to the States. I've never been out to the States before, but I think that's going to have to be for when we, with KickCon or whatever we call it, when that happens, I'm going to be there, and hopefully, when those discussions become more sort of fruitful and come to life, like it's going to be so incredible. Like even just talking to you right now on call, like again, I've been by your chat, we've gone back and forth a little bit like on stream, but we haven't actually spoken on a call, right? It's so cool to be able to kind of, converse, and obviously even one step up, meeting, yourself and all the other, foundational creators of Kick in person is going to be so fucking awesome. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I appreciate y'all having me on. Thank you so much. Huge shout out to everybody, and Andrew. Andrew's a huge W, honestly. So if you guys don't follow Andrew, he also streams on Kick. You should give him a follow. All right. So I appreciate y'all. I'll get all y'all's hair, and you guys have a good rest of your day and night.
Hell yeah, Panda.
I appreciate y'all. I'm out.
Enjoy your weekend, man. Take care. See you, Panda. Hey, that was awesome. That was a great little, great Kick Talk episode. Massive positivity.
Yeah, man.
Panda is he's a legend, and Dubz he's incredible. Like again, that was that was inspiring listening to him, and Pike of course came in with some heavy hitting questions, some technicalities, and I think we showcased a couple of cool things. I think that roadmap, which is now on Kick Community Live for anyone to view, is pretty exciting, So yeah, definitely an awesome episode.
Yeah, man. And look, just to tell chat, man, like I can't tell you how rare this is. Like just having worked at different companies, not always like multimedia companies. Like I worked at like Intel, I worked at TNT, I worked at Adult Swim, I worked at NBC. I'm an old man, and I just have never been a part of a company that does this, like talks shop transparently, right? Like that talks about a roadmap, and that's just because of where we are in terms of technology and being a lot more open, and things getting out there faster and news traveling fast. So it kind of forces companies to be more transparent. But the fact that Kick is just open to allowing these types of forums, I just want to let everyone know like how incredibly bonkers rare it is to be able to just go from a conversation that we had with like BB Jess or Shakti G, and then completely pivot to music and talk shop with Dubz music, and then have Pike. There's no way that those companies that I mentioned before invite on like Wired magazine to come and tell them how to run their platform, right? Or invite like people from Bloomberg Tech to come on and punch holes through through their tech. 9 times out of 10, you have people that are in Eddie's position that just sit in their, you know, ivory tower and just never talk shop. So for me, this is a huge W just to be able to do stuff like this.
Yeah, no, I tell you, it's all. I must say, it goes both ways, though, right? The feedback that we get from these, it's real, right? It's raw, it's authentic. When you're kind of having these direct conversations with people, you almost feel like another level of responsibility to also deliver on you know what they need, right? Like I think that's one thing as well. Like it certainly goes both ways in the sense that, you know, I like to think we shine a bit of transparency on the business as a whole, but in return, like we get so much. But again, I think we're just still scratching the surface on what we can achieve here. What I've just done, Andrew, as I pulled up the new front end stuff, I thought I might just quickly showcase that. I just got word that something pretty cool just came out. So guys, I'm just on the new user interface we're talking about with Pike, and just quickly, so here's me going into a stream. You can see the nice little chat rules here. That's quite neat. But I'm now going into Loz's profile. We've got video. Let's go to one of his previous VODs here. Loading it up, and look here, we've got finally the scrubbing live. That just came out just then, actually. So you can, you know, go through the VODs now. It's actually a nice little update that people have been requesting for a long time. Obviously, VODs are a very important part of Kick as well. You can kind of just scrub through, find that moment you're looking for. It's been missing for a while, but it's finally come out. You know, you got more videos down here from Loz. We're kind of working on that VOD experience, which is really important. Yeah, now I've just gone into Loz's VOD, and now I can kind of keep on watching it whilst I browse the rest of Kick, of course. You know, I want to maybe go find like another streamer whilst I kind of got Loz over here in the background, or which is you know pretty sick. You know, I'm watching a real-time VOD that I just scrubbed. You know, I'm finding another streamer now. So again, like some really cool little updates are going to be coming out on this one. Which again, I think a lot of the you know, a lot of this update is in the detail, which I think you guys will notice, like in terms of how we've gone about things, just how the website interacts, how smooth it is, and how, you know, the experience is, you know, whether that's mainly from a viewer experience. The biggest thing that we're focusing on here with Kick right now is increasing that viewer experience and making sure as a viewer you're having that, you know, really epic experience, because we understand that, you know, from a streaming perspective, Kick is pretty competitive. We got like 95.5, we got KCIP, we got no ads, we got all this like cool stuff going on, right? But in terms of a viewer experience, we need to make that just as seamless. And, you know, I'm just kind of clicking around right now and using the website a little bit, and, you know, the experience that this has right now is really great. And I think you guys are going to really look forward to seeing this. Again, this is kind of just phase one in like a bigger picture push, you know, where we're going to be sort of bringing out new mobile applications, the new TV apps, and the new backend kind of all in following updates. But these are really exciting. Again, this is what I think this is what was being just talked about before in terms of what Pike was speaking to, was kind of like around some of these moderation, the quick actions on moderation. This is pretty sweet. So being able to enable the mod shortcuts, so you can delete the message, shift to ban the user, control plus shift to time out the user. I think you made a really good point there. Obviously ban the user should be control plus shift probably, but, you know, we've got some, you know, again, it's a lot of it's in the detail. A lot of it's in the detail in terms of how we're releasing this. And I think, again, importantly as well, bringing up the the roadmap here. Let me just quickly find that one. Yeah, I think it's this roadmap again is something that we touched on with Pike that I think is a great one just to pull up again. Again, it's on the you know, it's on the community page now, but you know, the stuff we're working on right now, the desktop side of the applications, that's about to go to done as we release this kind of hopefully in the next couple of weeks. You know, we've seen that live version just then. The iOS, Android apps, the TV apps, you know, that's all working on right now, nearly there. The consoles, of course, coming soon. You know, on the back of the new backend that we're releasing, we've got moderation pools, channel points, creator tools, payments. That's all being worked on right now in parallel. You know, 2K, 4K streaming, that's all coming. VOD, UX, we understand how important that is. I just showed you the scrubbing, right? That's you know, kind of, again, just heading in that direction. The mobile streaming that, you know, even Panda was saying he had the ability to beta test from the, you know, his experience in the hospital before. So, you know, also in the works. Public API, of course, coming and the integrations that come with that. You know, this is all just really important, just going sure that we're answering all the questions. And, you know, I just like to think, you know, Kick is kind of quite successful where it's at the moment. But when we tick off all these, you know, and I like to think that the majority of this will be ticked off in the next sort of, you know, whether it's 3, 6, 9 months or so, it's going to really position Kick as a market leader from a product perspective. You know, we've already talked about the disruption, right? Kick came in from a disruptive perspective, 95.5, KCIP, you know, multi-streaming, the IRL changes we've done, you know, the fact we've got no ads as well, that kind of is disruptive in its sense too. And all the partnerships that we have going on, you know, combine that with all these upcoming applications, live streaming integrations and tools, like, you know, it really is that perfect recipe for success that we're just looking forward to putting forward. So again, just on the back of that discussion with Pike and on the back of, you know, trying to display a few more updates, I'm hoping that like maybe next week I can get the Kick app up on my phone, the new Kick app, that's really, really, really smooth. You know, we recognize that as a major problem. So I'm hoping I've got that one next to showcase for you guys. I want to make sure that these Kick talks, they're not just about like talk, it's about action. I think, you know, I can sit here and go, oh, this is coming soon all you want. And this is happening, and, you know, this, that, the other, like, you know, action, words go so far. I think, you know, we got to have stuff to show you guys, you know, make sure you understand that we're actually fucking cooking, you know, we're not just saying we're cooking, we're truly cooking, you know, that's the, that's the important thing. And making sure that as you guys continue to invest in the platform, you know, whether that's as a creator or just as a viewer, or whether it's your moderator like Pike or an analyst like Pike, you know, you feel rest assured that like, hey, look, these guys are doing what's required in the background. So, you know, this is going to be a good one to kind of just reference back towards, and, you know, hopefully just keep on ticking stuff off, just like, you know, the VOD UX right there. You know, we just got another great win out there. The VOD scrubbing been asked for a lot, so it's coming. We 100K deep invested, bro. Well, that's good, man. Hell yeah. Oh, thanks for the raid, by the way, Crunchy. Appreciate that, man. Hope you had an awesome stream. Hold on, let me just switch back to my other.
Yeah, that was a big host. Yeah, just to kind of anyone who missed the roadmap talk, like, this is just the preliminary, you know, layout. We definitely want this sucker to be more interactive. It's going to explain what we're looking at doing and you know, a rough timeline estimate, but then also in these types of layouts, like, you sunset a lot of projects, right? Like you have your heart set on something, doesn't quite work out, but we also want to be transparent on like, hey, we're sunsetting this project. We're not going to go as deep into that. Another thing I want to tease under the partnership is we have a very big announcement that it's going to be coming out in the next couple of weeks of another partnership. I'm not going to get too crazy detailed into it, but it is along esports. And we have been diving into that sector big time. So just looking at the Kick roadmap, I'm like, there's like 10 other things that I would like love to add in there, right? And as this thing evolves, though, you'll see that roadmap constantly change and being updated. But then also we want to be able to take feedback from you guys on the roadmap. So we definitely want to have a section of the roadmap where you can click and say, hey, I think that this needs to be added to the roadmap, or there's a little bit of confusion around X, Y, and Z. But this JPEG of this roadmap is just the beginning to how we're going to communicate with y'all in what's coming out.
Yeah, no, I think it's gonna be exciting to add in. Again, this is like what parity looks like, right? This is what the foundation looks like. This is almost like kind of like how do we get out of beta? What does that look like? Then from there, that's when the real juicy stuff will come to fruition, because there's a lot of ideas, and again, it comes back to what we're discussing with what we're discussing beforehand in terms of like what live streaming has to offer. Just from a content perspective, I think it has way more to offer. I always say the best days of live streaming to come, but I think from a product perspective, like there hasn't been much else that's been innovated on. There's so much to innovate on, and we're gonna include that, communicate it, and make sure that people also have a say in it, because I must say some of the best ideas come from the people on the front lines of the product actually using it. Live streamers themselves, again, even just hearing out people on these discussions we have here on Kick Talk, or what people post on Twitter and stuff, I think that really derives what is important to people, and subsequently what is important to us. But yeah, we'll do like maybe just 15 minutes of questions from the chat, and then wrap it up. It's nearly 3 a.m. here in Australia, so I probably need to jump in a second. I had Jess there. I had so much fun last night on the front page. W-Kick. Hell yeah, Jess. Great to have you here. Eddie, when will we be able to see our view list as streamers? So a big part of, so channel points that we brought up there is under tools, which we're currently working on. So channel points, a big part about channel points is we need to understand like exactly who's watching a stream and for how long. So that kind of ties in with that update. We kind of get that viewer list for free as we integrate channel points. From a technical perspective, we need to understand who's in a stream for how long and when. So that then opens up the viewer list subsequently. Again, I spoke about this last week actually, but the way we want to integrate viewer lists is we want to make sure that we kind of adhere to people's privacy. I love lurking streams. You probably see me gifting a few subs around, but most of the time I'm just lurking. I'm not actually doing much. So, and I don't really want to every time I join a channel be like, hey, you're there, right? Like, same with other people. I think a lot of people love lurking. So we want to find that kind of medium between like, having a viewer list that kind of, takes away from people who want to watch streams without kind of, being too public, and also given the streamers that kind of idea of who's there. So again, we're going to find that balance, but that's all opened up from a technical perspective, a product perspective, through channel points. They're kind of one and the same almost in terms of what the requirements are, just the integration. So yeah, that's coming. Gifting is amazing. Thanks for your doing the etiquette. No worries, man. Appreciate that. Eddie, can you please explain how streamers like Sandpepper do not get banned for fighting, but others? Yeah, the moderation stuff I can't comment on. We're refining moderation more and more and more. That's a big one for us, right? Moderation is complicated. I say this every single time to anyone who asks. It's been the one thing that we have learnt the most with. We went in probably not understanding how complex moderation is as a topic. When you have like several thousand people live at any given moment with several thousand chat rooms all talking about different topics, how you moderate that in a consistent way, it's a hard thing. And I recognize when we have room for improvement. So, we're always looking to create like as much of a consistent sort of moderation policy and moderation sort of documentation as possible. And it is hard. It is hard. We're working on it. We are working on it. We recognize it. So again, I can't comment on specific people and what they're doing. But again, I think Kick is also very important where we allow people to be themselves and don't over moderate. I think, to Andrew's point before, Andrew was talking a lot about, previous experience working in places where they kind of said, you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to do this. I feel like other platforms are kind of almost shaping like what kind of content you need to create. And they're kind of like, okay, this is the type of content creator you need to look like. Like you guys need to all replicate this, do that. And if you don't do that, we're going to fucking ban you. I like to think that we want people to kind of be themselves and be able to kind of relax and maybe just like, again, it's striking that balance, it really is about striking the balance. And that's where I think Kick has room to differentiate itself, when we don't want people going out being, saying horrific stuff and doing horrific things by any means. But at the same time, we want to let people be themselves and make sure we allow the right type of content and the right kind of balance on that front. So it's, again, ongoing discussions. And the most important aspect, though, is consistency. Consistency in moderation policy is what we require. Eddie, can you add? This isn't about steak, man. This is Kick Talk. Can't, unfortunately, talk about that.
We got a good one about can you add a live tag option if you have someone else in the display? Like if you click on Andrew, it will show his Kick page or link. So yeah, live tagging is a great note.
Oh, that's already there on it. That's done.
2 leps layup, man. Done. Look at that.
It's already done. That's done. That's on that new version. If you put if I put at Santa Maria in my channel title right now, and I went on V2 on the V2 web that I was just showcasing before, it'd come up with the handle and everything like that. So that's already done. Yeah. What else? Eddie, will you be adding different payment methods for subs? Some of my viewers complained that the card not working. Yeah, that's again, it comes back to the roadmap, right? The roadmap, a big aspect there was under tools, a section there's called payments, right? We recognize that payments is just like a massive part of what the platform is. You know, at the end of the day, you know, we kind of have 2 main jobs. I like to think 3 main jobs really, but 2 of the main ones being, you know, we got to host your live stream so you can go live, and B, we need to allow people to make payments to you as well, right? And that's kind of like, you know, the two most important things. And if you know, Stripe covers a lot of North America, it covers a lot of you know, a lot of countries very, very, very well. But we recognize that some countries, especially in Europe, for example, or Latin America, or even Southeast Asia, like Stripe is not as you know, isn't the best solution. So we need to cater to that. So, you know, building out like a more robust, more localized payment service for more jurisdictions, that again, it's on the roadmap and something we're very familiar with and want to work towards, because if you as a creator can make more money, you as a viewer are able to contribute in an easier and more efficient manner, then that is, you know, going to end up making the product more competitive. For real, why no crypto support? Yeah, crypto support, we can get that done. Again, I've spoken about this like 5-6 times, honestly. We could get crypto done, but I feel like we probably want to get some more we will probably want to get access to more sort of localized payment methods first before that anyway. I think, you know, that's the most important thing for us, you know, especially like India, for example. You know, we don't yet have access to UPI, right? UPI is everything in India right now. We need to get that across the line. You know, for example, in Brazil, we want to have PIKs, you know, instead of using cards. So again, it comes down to those localized payments that need to be, you know, done first. But Cash App support, I think Cash App could potentially be something we could get across the line, but we'll get there. I think, yeah, payments is its own kind of team, their job will be to just continue to iterate on more coverage, because again, more options for you guys as creators or viewers to interact with the streams and to subsequently make or spend money is great for Kick. It's great for the streamer economy.
You got one. Could you put subtitles on these live shows for people who don't speak English? Yeah, we talked about that last week, about putting more resources towards that, and it's a good shout out because we are putting together an episode for Kick Weekly with an all Latin America cast of streamers. So we have been talking about that internally, like, you know, let's bring on Lapars, let's bring on West Caller, let's bring on Coscu, and have like a full Latin America lineup. And we certainly want to do that for the French audience. We want to do that for the Indian audience as they start coming on board. And we also want to do that for like, you know, the European countries also. And I think that subtitles would go a long way in delivering like the Kick Weekly message, you know, these updates.
Yeah, I think we're actually speaking with a third party sort of provider that can offer exactly that. We've had some really promising conversations with them thus far. So, you know, on the back of that discussion that we even had last week, there's things progressing on that front, and honestly, it's far more feasible and you know, far more realistic than first discussed. So looking forward to bridging the gap between some of these communities, not just on Kick, but in live streaming in general, because I think, you know, some of the content that's getting made out of, you know, Latin America, out of Spain, out of, you know, the Middle East, yeah, I think it's some incredible production value there. There's incredible effort going into those live streams. And I think hopefully without that language barrier of sorts, maybe, you know, even the English speaking market can derive some inspiration and vice versa. You know, I think it's about bridging those communities, those viewership, those communities between those different demographics. And it's going to be really exciting. I think that's a real possibility based on the discussions we've had just in these last 7 days on the back of that idea being, you know, escalated. This channel has worse moderators. Wow, there's a lot of different comments coming through. Trying to find something. Eddie, can you make it so we can see who is clearing chat, changing category, and deleting message on the mod action dashboard? Also, how do I get Eddie for? Yeah, that's a good point. I think we could definitely get that done. Yeah, back on just very quickly touching on the tech side. You know, we discussed this with Pike. We kind of have those three main streams of work right now: the applications, the application layer, the iOS, Android, and TV apps. The desktop sort of user interface and user experience, so the front end, and then we've got the back end, right? The big one there that you mentioned there is touching on the kind of the revamp of the back end, which is hopefully going to be finished up in the next sort of 4 to 8 weeks. We'll definitely unblock those small little wins, like logging simple things such as moderation actions end to end. Like every action should be logged. Those three, for example, there's no reason they shouldn't be. So we can get that done. Again, those are small wins, which we know have like so much impact on streamers. You know, having that visibility is everything we can offer.
I feel Eddie. I feel like there's a short window of like great questions that come through, and then it just becomes like just this just this spamming of just nonsense. Just to spam it.
There's one here with Abs leaving Kick. Who will take over the RuneScape section? Abs helped RuneScape section grow on Kick a lot because of his localized knowledge. We're not giving up on that section by any means. Like, yeah, we've got all those contacts. Again, if someone leaves Kick, like it's just like any company, right? People come and go, and that's absolutely fine. Everything's handed over. Everything's handed over. All those connections. You know, that is a goal that we put in place as a business. Like we said, hey, we want to focus on that section. That hasn't changed just because one person leaves. So that's going to happen. And I'll be honest, there's a lot more localized knowledge in that section particularly. So I don't think you have to worry about that. We fully back that category 100%, just like we back all categories really. But
it's
yeah,
a team,
definitely nothing to worry about.
It's a team. This is it's not a one man. It's not. It's not a one man band, right? Like it's. Look, Abs brought some great things to the table, and he did some great things. But you know, you're crazy not to believe that there weren't like 4 or 5 other people side by side, you know, helping him do that. Who can pick up the banner also. So just to make that clear, guys, like. That goes for myself included. That goes for Caleb or Ollie that you guys met at DreamHack Dallas. Like, we're all working in accordance and very all aware of the temperature of Kick. So yeah, old school RuneScape's in definitely good hands. And Abs left it you know, like stable. Like when he walked away, like he handed over like you know, the game plan. So all good.
Eddie, how do we stop someone from botting a stream? I think the first thing you can do is just reach out to support. I think people sometimes forget that Kick has 24/7 live support. This is a big thing that kind of goes unnoticed sometimes. You can go to create a dashboard, click on the little Kick icon on the bottom right hand corner, open a ticket and go, hey, look, I'm having some issues with botting, and the support team will get behind you and you know, help you out on any front there. So again, reach out to our support. I you know, without kind of suggesting people go and waste their time, but like our support team will reply back to you within like literally within 5 minutes, almost guaranteed. You know, you don't have to spend like weeks to get a response. Like, you know, if you need help, like reach out to our support team. I think a lot of time people kind of instantly go to like Twitter or stuff thinking that's how you get our attention. Like you don't need to do that. You can go and open a live support ticket and be like, hey, look, I've got this problem, like help me. That's the best way to go about.
But Eddie, how are you going to farm your content, man? How are you going to farm your content on other platforms if you're not like at the same time reporting privately and screenshotting everything and share? Anyway, I'm taking a jab, but the 24/7 support thing. I'm seeing some people saying in chat like, how is the Kick platform unique in its UI? Guys, there is no other platform that's using this 24/7 feature, right? Like it's amazing. And Eddie, I do think that we could do a better job of maybe calling that out, because I talk to a lot of people. I'm like, hey, just click on the Circle K, and they're like, I just thought that was there for aesthetics. I had no idea that that was actually a functioning button. Does that make sense?
Yeah, maybe we need to just turn that into like a live support icon. Yeah, to be fair, that's a
Yeah.
good point. Like, yeah, maybe that's where it's coming from. But even like support at kick.com will reply instantly as well. Let's say go to the same inbox. So, but yeah, that's a good shout. But I think you also made a good point as well, like about like hopefully, like I really do hope as time goes on, like people will use our live support avenues to report problems to us instead of going to social media, because I feel like that's, again, it makes for the most positive change. So, again, if you are somebody who uses social media and you find something that like, hey, look, I'm not happy about this. Like, I reckon this person is doing something wrong, or I reckon this person's up to no good. Again, this is just a plea. Again, you do what you guys want to do as content creators. As Andrew said, engagement's important, but as a favor to the platform, reach out to us privately and help us to understand what's going on. It makes a big difference, and it means the world to us to be able to, assist you through the correct avenues, because it's so much easier than doing it in a public place sometimes. And we have those avenues open. Like, we got people, real people to talk to. So come talk to us, right? Come chat with us, come chat with our support team, like, voice your opinions. We're here. Eddie, add more emotes and sub emotes. That's up to the creators. You got to add that. They got to add their own sub emotes. Or you mean me as my channel? Yeah, I probably need to update mine. Mine's a bit dated. Why are Facebook Reels not allowed KCIP, but YouTube Shorts are? Yeah, maybe we can update that potentially. That's to be fair, a good point. If enough people kind of mention, hey, look, I want to use Facebook Reels to engage with that type of streaming and bring it over to Kick, then by all means we could integrate into KCIP. Eddie, my KCIP was ruined due to a viewer botting me. Please help. Well, I think just like anything, yeah, when like with that stuff, like we're not really looking at the numbers with the bots included in. I say this all the time, right? Like, it doesn't matter whether it's any social media platform, like, yeah, bot traffic stands out, right? Like, hey, we can see bot traffic and we can see real traffic. Don't get me wrong, the bots will always get smarter and find ways to continue to go undetected, and it's a game of cat and mouse that is going to go on for the rest of history. But behind the scenes, we can see what the real numbers are. So yeah, the KCIP rate would be based on your real viewership, right? Like, me as an admin on Kick, if I use my admin privileges, I can see like your real view count, and I can see your, your other view count that everyone else can see, right? So KCIP is more based around like the real view count. So just don't bot, and you get paid the right amount. So like, again, it's a game of cat and mouse, and we're not inviting botters to try to get around it, because we know you can get around it, and you guys can change your bots and fucking make them more sophisticated, but we'll always end up figuring it out, right? Like, and that's why we don't change like the actual public view count, because if we change the public view count to match what we're tracking, then the bots will just update in accordance, right? So it's very easy to tell the difference between a real person and a bot. So yeah, view bots don't fool anyone. And KCIP is based around people's real viewership. It's not based around bots. We don't reward that. So rates will change, and yeah, you don't have to worry about people view botting your channel.
There's a pretty easy one I think we could probably do here is there's a note for kickcommunity.com to be offered in Spanish. So I don't, I know it's pretty easy to toggle through different languages for kick.com, but for kickcommunity.com, like, we have some Spanish streamers that want to participate in like the bounty system. I think the bounties have been a huge hit. Anyone who doesn't know about the bounties offered up on Kick, if it's a good time, it's kickcommunity.com, go under the bounty section, and we will actually pay you out subs if you complete what's on our bounty board. I think right now we have a speed run bounty for 25 gifted subs. It's a geometry dash level 1, and a speed run bounty on chess puzzle rush for 25 solves. So, and that's, we drop subs if you clip it off and prove that you were the first one to do it and you claim the bounty. It's something that we haven't talked about, and it's Kick bounties. It's so much fun. Our team is having a blast doing that. But giving those bounties for French streamers or Spanish streamers also, I think would open us up to a whole new market.
Yeah, no, I think localization is huge, and definitely getting that across the line. I think we kind of got caught off surprise by the incredible support from the Spanish speaking market. It's been insane. Like, I think this week Kick has been averaging like 330,000 unique viewers at any given moment, and I think about 30% of that is Spanish, 30% of that's Arabic, 30% of that's English, and 10% is kind of other languages. So we kind of got this like almost even split between other non-English speaking languages, and being able to include them in all the kind of events that we host, and marketing and promotions and support is going to be really important. So we're going to get there for sure. I think again it grew a little bit faster than anticipated, but I'm sure we can pull it off. Localized support is something that we've very much achieved in other areas of our broader business, and we'll definitely get it for Kick too. So that's going to happen.
Hey man, I just want to throw it out there. It's late. It's super late for you, man.
Yeah, it's like past 3 a.m. I'm just thinking. I think we've got to most of the important questions. Guys, listen, it's been an incredible segment as always. Really, really appreciate how many people drop by, especially all the verified people coming by. I see you guys there, like not even just the verified people, but also the people that I see live streaming all the time, like the advocates for Kick, the people I see on Twitter and social media. Like, it's awesome that you guys are dropping in and want to hear what Andrew, me, and our guests have to say, and hear more about Kick. It's such an epic opportunity to be a part of a project where people are like so invested in what we're up to and what we're doing. And the support that you guys offer as a community to us, and the fact that we can sit here and probably answer questions for the next 10 hours if we had the energy to do that, and I didn't need to sleep. But it's such a fortunate opportunity for us, and I really do appreciate all the feedback, even some of the negative feedback as well. Like, you probably notice I'm not moderating the chat right now. I made it very clear to my the moderators. I was like, whatever you do, don't like ban people for being negative about Kick or negative to me. Just protect our guests. Like, that was a really important thing. Obviously the guests and whoever comes on, but I love negative feedback. It fuels me. It helps me to understand what's going on. So even if you hear kind of the guy that keeps on spamming like Kick is terrible, like there's a few people like that. It's all love. It's all love. The fact that you guys are invested in what we're doing and care about what we're doing, even if you're not yet on side, that's all cool. So again, just massive shout out to all you guys, massive shout out to everyone who's on Kick right now and supporting us. And I'm looking forward to coming on next week and talking with the next set of guests. Andrew, do you have the lineup ready?
Yeah, man. Right now we got Lauren Shea LA, who is going to be joining us. She's a first class creator. She's been on the platform since Jump Street, man, and she does a lot of positive things for Kick. She showcases a lot of up and coming streamers that I have found a lot of new people through Lauren Shea LA and how she spotlights people. And then we have Lady Desiree, who is a classically trained pianist, and who has a great following on other platforms. She's been on Kick for a while, but she's going to come in on the creative arts side. And then I'm waiting on one other third confirmation. So I don't want to announce who that third person is until they check their schedule and they're able to commit.
Awesome. Well, I think that's a wrap, guys. We're going to find someone to quickly host. Who's live right now?